Today's podcast is sponsored by Ivy Hotel and Suites, and with me today is Sasan Heirati.
Hi, John.
I've pronounced that right.
Yes, you did, yeah.
A lot of people have a bit of difficulty doing that.
Pretty much nearly everyone, yeah. So, must be because we're both
Mancunians.
Yeah.
Where's it? Are you Trafford?
Well, I grew up in Disbury, and then we moved
The
out
posh
to...
end.
Well, kind of.
Yes.
And then we moved down to Cheadle-Hulme, and now I'm kind of more towards Macclesfield.
So is that a little bit more in the countryside?
Yeah, Bollington is where we are. So
My grandparents used to live in Adlington Hall.
Oh, right,
Not in the hall itself, but the grounds.
Yeah, that area.
You know.
Yeah, we're not too far from there.
It's very
Adlington Road we're off. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what a chance.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. So, you're as far as I know, is it Iran?
Yes, I'm Iranian, yeah.
Iranian. Was you born there?
I was born there, yeah, in the capital.
What year was that?
1985, had to think then.
So I won't tell you when I was born.
Nah.
So that's Tehran?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
you
know
see,
your
I
stuff.
know,
Huh?
you know. But, I mean, do you, it's interesting this because Iran's been getting quite a bit of stick.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, again, I'm one of them. I look at it all and I go, where's this all going and where are they coming from?
You see through it.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. What you see here on the news is different to what they see there.
Really?
From the inside. And it's different on the inside. It's never as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a great country because they've fallen behind on a lot of things. And that's their own fault kind of thing in politics.
Yeah.
Not having the right leader, but it's a very cool country to go and visit.
It looks it. What I've seen of it, it does look really good.
If you like good food
Yeah.
and friendly people,
Yeah.
Iran's probably one of the best countries to go to.
I've known I met one or two people who've become friends with the Iranian, and you couldn't meet nicer people.
No, they're very polite, very respectful.
Yeah.
It's a culture thing.
Yeah.
No, it's a great country, and they've got everything. They've got mountains, they've got hot weather, cold weather. It's got everything you need. It's just a shame that it got left behind.
So, what area have they fell behind on, would you say?
It's ever since there was a revolution like 30 years ago.
I mean, with the Ayatollah in 1979?
Yeah, where he got put in power.
Yeah.
And the king got taken out.
Yeah. But the king, was he installed back the US puppet?
Well, I don't know. Well, he grew up studying in Switzerland, and so he had a very European idea of what he wanted to bring to Iran, and he made pretty much everything free. Like he said, women could take off their headscarves, and they didn't need to cover up. They had clubs, mixed cinemas, mixed buses, transport. It was pretty much going the route we have here.
The Western sort of culture, if you get what I mean. Yeah.
And I guess some of the extremists didn't like it.
Right.
And he got overpowered. And it was just too much for him to stand up for. And then he got taken out by America to America.
Because it was that film on it. Was it Argo or something?
Argo, yeah. You know what? I've not actually seen it.
Have you never seen that? No. That actually was quite a good film.
I do need to watch it.
Ben Affleck, I think, was the director of it.
Yeah, he was.
But it's a good film, well worth. And I think, was he in it as well? If I think
he was in it. Yeah,
it's one of the main. He was, yeah. He was one of the main characters.
Yeah,
he was.
I need to watch that.
Yeah,
to be fair.
It's well worth watching. So, when did you actually then your family decided to up sticks? Yeah, move to the UK,
as well as wanting a better life with better, I guess, options for me and my brother.
Yeah,
my brother was born with cerebral palsy, and in Iran, disability help wasn't very good back then.
Right.
The little things like pavements for wheelchairs, lifts in most buildings, that kind of thing, just access, and also the government helping them when he's older.
Yeah,
none of that existed in Iran. So my mum and dad were thinking about his future.
So that's where you're saying the way that things fell behind.
Exactly.
It just perfect
paused,
example.
It just stopped.
Okay.
Whereas if things were going with the king, he would have had all that in place.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they wanted a good future for him. So that was one of the main reasons we came over, to get him treatment, good doctors, and a future. Yeah. And it worked out great because I'm here. So we came here when I was 7. Sorry.
Right. How old's your brother?
He's 27 now, so he's 5 years younger than me. So he was 1 or 2 when we came.
So work out the maths. 32 then.
I'm 32, yeah.
Yeah. I remember being 32, do you, Chris? You shouldn't.
Not too long ago.
Like that, yeah. Not too long ago.
Yeah.
16 years ago.
Oh, wow.
17, sorry. Yeah, 17. Yes, Sam.
You're filming this in black and white then, John.
I don't... Burn up. So, when you came over then, how did you... was you fluent in English?
No.
At the time? So, how did you go
I had to learn as I went. Because the year we left was the year they started teaching English in my school in Iran.
Right.
So I didn't get to really know much apart from hello and bye.
How can you recall back to when you
can
arrived?
a little bit. I remember the kids in school trying to teach me words and me repeating, and I had a teacher assistant sit with me.
Yeah.
But I think when you're at that age, you're still like a sponge.
Yeah.
So, it was on the TV, the radio, the kids in school, everything. I actually finished my year in a Persian school here as well. When I came in when I was 7, I finished that term, and then when I was 8, I started in year 3, primary school.
Right.
Was it year 4? 3 or 4? 3.
Yeah.
And I kind of just remember learning as I went, and then by the time I was 11, leaving primary school, I did some exams to get into a good school, and by then I was pretty much caught up. Yeah, it didn't take long. And I actually think in English, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I speak Farsi at home with my parents.
Yeah. So it's never left you?
No, it's never left.
So is it something you speak a lot when you're at home
I'm with my
with your parents?
Yeah. So I can speak it fluent, and not to the point where I can understand really news reporters.
Yeah.
Iranian, I can't understand what they're saying because they just use words that I never got to learn.
Right.
So I'm very basic, but I'm fluent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kept it in at home. If I hadn't kept it in at home, then I probably would have forgot it. But I don't read or write because I didn't practice it.
I was just about to say, you don't read or write in
Iranian.
Iranian,
I'm not that bad. Might be a bodybuilder.
You know what I mean?
No, I can just about read and write in English. Just about.
So how would you describe yourself as when you come over here as a kid? Was you sporty? Was you active?
No, sports wasn't pushed much in Iran. It is when you get older.
But when you moved over here, then
when I moved over here, I loved it. Like we had. I remember because I'm quite quiet and shy, and back then I was even worse. Like especially when we came here, and I didn't know the language.
Yeah,
I was almost in a shell. So I remember we had a basketball camp kind of thing at school. And I can't remember his name, but one of the Manchester Giants players was running it.
Right.
And he did 2 days at the school, and I just fell in love with basketball. And I went and joined Reddish Vale Basketball Centre, and I ended up playing for like 6, 7, 8 years in 6 different teams. Really good teams, good level I got to. And I wanted to be an NBA player. So from that, I think I was 9 or 10. We did that.
So it's a bit of a Phil Heath sort of like,
sort
of like pattern merging here, isn't it? Yeah.
I never got quite as good as him, but we're the same height.
Yeah, that's right. 5'8".
Yeah, we're about 5'8", 5'9". So that started my. I realised that I did love sports. Like that was my outlet. Right. That was my way of speaking.
Was that your one main sport, or was there other sports
at that time? Yeah, but when I got to 10, 11. My dad put me in a kickboxing class in Heaton Mersey because I was quite soft.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little bit chubby. I was soft. He didn't want me to get pushed around, basically.
Dad wanted to toughen you up a bit.
Yeah, so he took me to that with my older cousin at the time. And he said to the instructor, like, teach him discipline.
Yeah.
Make sure, he does what he's told. And so I did everything I was told. I did my 100 sit-ups and press-ups every night before bed. My dad and mum made me do it.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I didn't want to. So that was like, it was like military for me. But it taught me discipline. And I did kickboxing for all the way up to 17. Got my instructor's belt. I did weapons training. Never got into competitions. I just liked the training side of it.
Right.
And I actually enjoyed training on my own at home, which led to, I guess, the love for bodybuilding, because you're kind of training by your own. It's not a team effort. That's where I lacked in basketball. I was never good with the team.
Was you not? Why? Why was that?
It annoyed me because when people didn't have the skill to get past someone or score, I got annoyed. So I was like, just give me the ball.
We had this with Zach, didn't we? Zach
was he the same?
Saying the same, yeah. He said, relying on people.
I think that's a bodybuilder trait.
Yeah.
I think Dorian said it. Like it was all him.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, it was the same thing. I loved it when I was at home with my own basketball net. I used to kind of be the commentator guy. I used to imagine I was in certain situations in an NBA game, and I used to like commentate as I played, and I just loved that. And then as soon as I got in the team, I wasn't the same.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get my point across.
You wanted everyone to be on the same level, or and when they're not,
it frustrates because it's not in your control. So I'm not saying I was better than everyone I played with. I wasn't.
No.
But when something went wrong, I didn't like it, because if I did something wrong, it was fine because it was my fault. But I didn't like.
Would you take it on the chin from the fellow players and understand?
I didn't mind, but I had to have control, and I think that's what led to bodybuilding. I
think that's a trait in many of us. I mean, even though I played many, team sports, I was the same. And when you're not being met, if you get very, you don't want to be being let down in a way.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't like letting people down.
Yeah, I'm the same.
You know what I mean? It's one of them. That's why
I don't like letting people down, and I don't like relying on too many people.
Yeah.
I think that's what. No, you're right. It was the same when I played rugby later on in uni. I was great when I had the ball and I just had to run with it.
Right.
But when it came to like formations and plays and certain drills, I just got lost on the pitch. I was like, what's he doing and what's he doing?
Yeah. So university?
Yeah. I went to uni. I got my degree in mechanical engineering. That spawned from...
Brawn and brains and beauty. Eh?
Well, I kind of just scraped through that degree. I wouldn't say I got a first, but I did enough. Yeah. I loved cars from when I was a kid. So
okay.
I thought and my parents really wanted me to go to uni, get a higher education, and the only thing I could think of was mechanical engineering, because I was good at maths and physics at school,
right,
and nothing else. So it just suited well, but not much of it was to do with cars, and it was so hard. It was I didn't quite enjoy it. So when I left uni, I knew I wouldn't really pursue that kind of and I worked in production. Engineering for a year, and I just didn't like it.
Where was that?
That was in a company called 3D Kids.
Mm-hmm.
They made crystal blocks with 3D images inside.
Oh yeah.
But they had the idea of doing it as a school photo. Like they went to nurseries and they did it for the kids and gave it to the parents type thing. And I produced the blocks at the factory.
Right. Okay.
And I managed my own little production team.
Yeah.
But all I kept thinking about was my next meal and getting to the gym.
So you was actually at what stage then? Let's revert back then. But from there, when did you actually start hitting the gym, and how did that come about?
That came about because I was doing kickboxing.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 12, my older family friend that took me to kickboxing, he kind of looked after me. He showed me. He put the Kickboxer on, which was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I was watching it. And at the time, I started seeing Arnie movies, and they all had muscle. Yeah. So I was like, "That's really cool." Like, I don't want to just be able to fight. I want to look the part. And then I remember one family party. We were leaving the family party, and I saw a shooting star. I told my auntie, she's like, "Oh, you've got to make a wish." You know, one of them things.
Yeah.
And my wish at that time was, when I get older, I want to be big like Arnold and have all the girls love me. The girl part didn't quite plan out, but I got the best one. I've said that in another interview. But the Arnie part, like, I never thought it would happen. So when I was 13, my mum took me to Argos and we got a weight set. And I took the weight set home, and it had a bench, a swivel on the end. You could do leg extensions and hamstring curls, and dumbbells in a bar. And with the set came a big poster of the little stacked cartoon guy, the York cartoon. It's everywhere. It was everywhere in gyms, I think, back then. And it showed pictures of him doing every... You probably, when you see it, you'll know. It was like a Johnny Bravo type guy. He had a really big upper body.
What is it? The York? York.
Do you remember the York set?
I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, York cartoon character. I'm trying to picture it, like Johnny Bravo.
Like he had blonde hair, massive arms, short stacked legs.
Right.
A big V-taper. And on this massive poster, he did every exercise for every muscle group. And every morning and night, I used to copy every exercise exactly how I could see it.
Yeah.
So I did every muscle group every day. And I remember when I was 14, I went back to school after summer, and everyone was like, "What have you been doing?"
Really?
And I didn't know.
I was just about to come up to the
food.
The food, yeah, because you're training and all that.
Yeah. It's a good point. I didn't want to talk about the food because in Persian culture, food is a huge thing. And cooking goes back thousands of years. The way they cook the food. Now I've learned, being a bodybuilder, that some of the superfoods that we try and eat, like kale, spinach, turmeric, all the stuff that the nutritionists are pushing now.
Yeah.
They naturally cooked with it all back then, so it was always at home anyway.
Oh, was it from the culture and that?
Yeah. My mum loved cooking. Everything was home cooked. Everything was kind of natural, and so I had that base without really knowing it. So when I started training, the food was already there.
Yeah.
The lamb dishes, chicken, rice, veg, all the stuff we eat now.
So yeah.
So everything was there.
Far cry from McDonald's and all the crap that the kids are eating
we just
today,
didn't have that stuff back then in Iran. So, and as a culture, my parents were brought up to buy fresh ingredients, cook at home.
Yeah.
That was just it. We didn't have any. Now it's different. They've got lots of fast food but so that was there. And as an extra, I thought babies drink milk to grow, so I'm going to drink loads of milk. And that summer, I remember just necking milk and eating yogurt and trying to finish my food my mum cooked. So that helped me fill out. So all the foundations were there from day one, without even me really knowing it. It fell into my hands.
Was you reading up on anything with nutrition,
nothing.
or just
all I saw was the movies?
That was
and
it.
My little York
And
cartoon
then
character.
that was it. Yeah.
That was all I had, and my mum cooking. So everything was kind of there without the explanation of it. So I started studying it later on when I got to college.
When did you first start? Because eventually we all buy a protein powder.
Fall into the routine.
Yeah. When did
it was when I started buying Flex magazine. Everyone does.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the only magazine you could see it on the shelf. I remember we were going on holiday. I think I was like 16, 17, and I bought a Flex magazine at the airport.
Right.
And it had, I think, Mark Dugdale on the front. And on the plane, I flipped to the diet section, and it was a sample diet, to your typical diet, like 8 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, porridge in the morning, chicken and rice, chicken sandwich, wholemeal bread, that kind of thing. So I said to my mum, I was like, I'm going to do this diet when we get back off holiday. So as soon as we got back, I fell straight into that exact diet. And it also gave a list of foods, their protein, their macros, and all the and a diagram of every muscle in the body and what exercise. So that's all I had, which was quite a lot for me then. So that just sunk in straight away. I understood it all. It was like stuck to my wall, all the macros of everything.
Do you not think though a lot of the guys who go in the gym today, if they just stuck to something like that, would probably make?
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff in magazines are crap anyway. But it's basic stuff, which has just been repeated over and over, and that got me a lot of size. Like in college, from the beginning.
So that was at 17, was it?
That was about 17, right. Yeah.
And what was your weighing when you started this?
I never weighed, but if I had to guess, I was probably around. I wasn't light. I was probably around 65 to 70 kilo.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was probably 160 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And just jump in. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Oh yeah, but he had blonde hair in my.
Yeah, blonde hair. That's the American version.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was him.
Right.
It was him. A little bit exaggerated because it was a cartoon. That was like a little model.
That's like a model, isn't it?
That's like on top of a building, I think. Or something.
Yeah,
that's the best I can find.
Right. But yeah, see the little pictures at the top of the guy doing a tricep kickback and curls for your forearm. Yeah. That was pretty much everything that was.
I remember buying a York dumbbell, a York set from the Weeder shop though.
Is that you, John?
Well, nearer to that now.
That's the best I can find on Google anyway.
Right,
it must be.
All the memories of them, the old grey.
Yeah, he's on top of a building there. Look, that's the fella.
Yeah, that's like an Olympic lift. I never.
Yeah,
did that
isn't
one.
it? No,
yeah.
I didn't know that. So that.
No, it looked too crazy. But what was I saying? Yeah, college. By the end of college, I was known as the big guy.
Right.
I had arms. Funny enough, I didn't have calves, which I do now, but I never really did calves back then. I had basketball and kickboxing gave me a good foundation for carbs, and my dad always had big carbs, so the genetics was always there.
They're ready to be switched in.
So I was always known as the guy with the muscle. And,
right. So what was you weighing when these? Because he was from 170, so you gained the size.
I was probably, when I left college, I wasn't much heavier. I was probably 180.
Just to
still
change
translates
in
to now. I never make huge leaps in weight, but my density and stuff.
Compositional change.
Yeah.
So what you're losing bad weight, you're gaining good weight.
Yeah, exactly.
So the illusion was far greater then.
Yeah. My thing was always illusion. I always looked bigger than I weighed.
But then that must come down then to obviously consistently training and following that diet.
Yeah, I did that every day.
Yeah.
Like, my set was at home until I got to college. I joined the college little gym. And I got strong quick. Like, I was lifting the heaviest dumbbells. I was trying to stack all the machines on the legs and stuff. And I got strong quite quick. And I trained every day. Like, I didn't want to miss a day of training. Yeah, I didn't know about volume, and I didn't know about all that stuff. So I just did as much as I could. And then I got to college. I kept training. But my diet kind of, as a student, you just start eating pizzas, and I was just trying to eat. But I didn't really. And that was when I first got into protein. I remember my friend knew Sammy, who owns SK.
Yeah.
And he took me to the warehouse. Back then it was just a tiny little room and then the big warehouse behind it. And I said, I just want to put size on. And they gave me a carb powder, whey protein, and creatine powder.
Yeah.
And they take that creatine 5 times a day, 3 scoops of carbs to 1 scoop of whey. It was all carbs and I just blew up like a little water balloon back then, because your hormones are everywhere, aren't they? And I reacted really well, and I made sure I ate and he said, you need to eat every 3 hours. And he said, when you train a muscle, you shouldn't train it again for another 5 to 7 days, because it needs time to heal. Which was great advice again. Yeah. It was the basic, and I'm still new to it at the time, so it stuck with me.
Did you find it hard to comprehend at first? Or
no, because he really explained it really well, this lad. I just can't remember who he is. He might even be watching this, but he said, imagine you got punched in the face and you cut your eyebrow. Yeah. He said, if you keep punching that every day, it's not going to heal and get and heal over and get stronger. He said it's the same with the muscle fiber. So when you hit it in the gym, when you train it in the gym, you're tearing fibers. Yep. So they need a certain amount of time to grow, and that made complete sense to me.
Well, that's a brilliant way of putting it.
It is, isn't it? It's stuck in my head.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, people who are watching, it's true. Take that on board.
And it's the same thing.
It is. Yeah. People don't realise that. It's like more. And it's like, well, no, you've got to allow, recovery, haven't you?
Yeah. And Dorian said it all the time.
Yeah. It was a nail, wasn't it? Yeah. No piece of wood, isn't that?
Right now, I spend less time than I ever have done in the gym a week. If I spread my sessions over a week, it's 4 sessions.
Yeah.
An hour to an hour and a half, sometimes more. If I'm lifting a bit heavy, I need more rest. But like back then, I was trying to train every day.
Right. Okay.
And now that I train less, I can put more into it.
Yeah, well, I was the same. I was a 4 day. About an hour at most. Yeah. In all fairness, with me, but you're training at the moment. You're training with JP Jordan Peters, aren't you?
We do some sessions together.
Right.
He's not only one of my best friends now, but he's my sponsor as well.
Oh, excellent.
He reached out to me, and it's probably, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to fully commit to more than one show this year. So he's helping me on that side.
Well, big shout out to Jordan Peters.
Yeah, huge shout out. Yeah,
awesome.
I can't thank him enough.
He's getting bigger. He's going to blow up at some point.
You should see him now.
I know. I've seen recent picture, and I'm like, what the hell? Yeah,
he's
is
massive.
Is he going to get back on stage or what?
Yeah. He's going to try and get his pro card this year. Right. There's a few opportunities for him, I think.
What's he weighing?
When I trained with him on Thursday, that morning, he woke up 298.
And how tall? He's not that tall, is he?
No, 5'6"? Somewhere between 5'6". Yeah, but between 5'6", 5'7". And he's not really carrying excess water or fat. So he'll be around 250 to 260 on stage.
Could be an absolute freak.
He's playing to his strengths now, down. So he knows what he needs to. He knows the only way he's going to blow the judges away is by sheer mass and condition. So,
have you reiterated that with him? Did you say like you get
No, he's decided that on his own.
Yeah,
I
condition.
think last year he tried to stay a bit closer to his weight, which he thought might work, but that kind of took away a lot of his fullness when he was dieting. Right. So this year he's trying to push up as much as he can without getting too fat and just play the size game, because it's his strength now. Like, he needs to come out and everyone needs to be like, that guy's huge, because he's never going to be the prettiest guy, and he knows it.
Yeah,
he's never going to be the most streamlined.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not. Well, how many people have got the Brian Buchanan waistline?
Yeah, exactly. When you're pushing that much weight, and that much food, that strong and that thick, you're going to grow everywhere. So he knows that, and he's going to play his strength this year.
So is there a competition when you're training alongside with him? And that,
you know what? If I tried to compete, then I would get hurt.
Yeah, because he was. I seen him. Some of the stuff he's pushing on legs, and then what is it? The dumbbells, something like 90 odd.
Yeah,
kilo.
He pushes. He was shoulder pressing the 90s the other week. But the thing with Jordan is, he doesn't just move the weight though. Like,
no, it's controlled.
No, when you watch him, he resets in the stretch position. He locks out. He's slow negative. He has complete control of that weight.
Yeah,
and it's took him probably 15 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
He's never let up on his form for the sake of lifting. He maybe we all have at some point, but he makes a point now to really be in that mind-muscle connection.
How did you actually connect with Jordan?
We've always met at shows the last few years, and then I think it was around about this time last year when I was starting to prep for New York. I seen him in strength when I went down to strength to train. And I was blown away. I was like, that guy is round from every angle. He was just so big. And I went over and I said, and I knew he was the man when it came to training, like exercise selection, rotation. And I had a few injuries at the time, which I still do. But I went up to him and I said, I want to get the most out of my prep, but I've got this injury and that. He said, okay, well, email me and we'll see if we can try and work around your injury. By picking different exercises, rotating them differently through through like a 2-week rotation type thing.
Okay.
So you're not trying to attack that same angle all the time.
So a bit more variety.
Yeah. And he kind of taught me. I was always basics, and I'm not saying that was wrong because it's got me where I am. But I got to the point where I'd done all my heavy lifting. I put in the years, the foundation years. So it got to a point where I needed to start working a little bit differently so I could have that longevity as well, because I want to be a pro in 10 years and winning shows like Dexter. I don't want to blow up in the next 2 years and then have to have knee surgery. So that was always in my mind when I was speaking to him, and he said, yeah, you can definitely do that. And we started talking and he sent me some plans, and that New York prep, I did the plan me and Jordan had. It was pretty much what I was doing, but a few tweaks.
So how would that? So the basics. So how would a typical? Let's just say let's take a back workout for instance. From how would your back workout have been, and then how was it altered? Sort of like with this rotation.
My typical back workout before, and I'd gone through phases where I had to try and pick different exercises myself. But I never stuck to it. My back workout would be go in, lat pull downs or pull ups. Deadlift, dumbbell row, barbell row, T-bar row, and then rows, cable rows.
Oh, right, okay.
So basically, this started like 10 years ago. Like I thought, okay, what's the best for back? I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to do every exercise that Jay Cutler and Ronnie does.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Right.
And for a few years it worked because I got strong and I was at that age where I could recover. But as I got bigger and bigger and stronger, I realized I couldn't do back deadlifts and rows and T-bars in the same session.
Yeah.
It was too much on my lower back.
Because of the amount of weight you were lifting as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't want to go in and just lift. I always aimed for one set where I just try and beat my last week's number. Kind of.
So you always went to one working set? Basically.
I always did one set where I tried to progress.
Yeah. Kill it.
Yeah. The only thing that's changed from then to now is my warm-up sets leading to it have less reps. So I might go from a 10 rep warm up, 1 set, and then to a 6, to a 4, to a 3. Instead of back then I used to do like 15, 12, 10, 8, and then a work set. But by then I'd done quite a lot of reps.
Yep.
But whereas now I just get warm, feel the weight as I'm progressing the weight, and then I save all my energy for that last set, which is pretty similar to what you do.
Yeah, a bit a case, and as you're going quite close to your heavy set, because
as close as I can.
Because is that like, so you got to set up what they call the neural pathways, as far as I'm, you know what I mean? I always remember Stuart Cosgrove mentioning that to me. He said you've got to activate the neural pathways, because if you go from too light to too heavy,
you're going to fail.
He said you're gonna have injuries as well. He said, but you will actually be stronger. But you don't go to complete failure. You're just basically getting the body goes, wow, we're ready.
That's
now.
exactly it. Stayed away from failure, but felt the weight.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I used to think back to the earlier days, like I'd do a heavy weight and I'd fail on it, and that really annoyed me. I'd go back to it a few minutes later and I'd do it better. And you'd think, well, I've just lifted that weight, so I should be tired, but neurally you just weren't ready.
You weren't ready, yeah.
And that's the other thing Jordan reinforced with me.
Yeah.
So back workout would be them, all the main ones. So what Jordan said was, okay, you don't need to do 3 main back movements. Just pick one, and then the week after or the next back session, pick another one. The week after that, pick another one. Just do one, and then a couple of isolations, and then that's it.
Right.
Call it a day.
So you're basically doing 3 exercises?
I do 4 now.
Right,
so
okay.
1 extra, but I used to do like 6 or 7.
So what would be, say, give us an example of how a back workout would be now then?
Okay, so my last back workout was, right now I can't do pull downs because of my shoulder, which is, I'll go into it later, but last back workout I did some straight arm pullovers to get the lats kind of warmed up, full of blood. Then I did barbell row on the Smith, which takes a bit of load off my lower back, which is taking a beat in the last 10 years. So I need to be careful. So I did bent over barbell rows on the Smith. Then that was it for my main, like, compound where you're stabilizing your lower back. Then it was pretty much machine rows, cable row. So I did one machine row where you're pulling up from low. Yeah,
like hammer strength. The DY.
Yeah. And then I went into a cable row.
Yep.
So it's a bit of back movement as well, and not supported.
Yep.
And then I finished with an overhand machine row.
Yeah.
So everything else was supported.
The high row sort of like,
yeah,
so
that's it.
Like those that usually,
that's it. So trying to hit every angle, but there was only one movement where I was trying to hold the weight off the floor.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Whereas a few years ago, it would have been.
So in a way, so what I'm picking up on it. So what basically was to take the element away from that lower back.
Yeah, that was exactly it, because that was what kept screwing me up.
Yeah,
and we realised that I shouldn't deadlift.
Yeah,
because I'll get to a certain weight. I always get to 260, and then my back will start twinging, and it'll put me out for like 2 weeks.
So what hypers then? Do you do?
Yeah, I can do hypers. Yeah. I can do hypers. I usually do them sometimes on leg day just to finish off hamstrings. But I twinged my back again before Christmas, so I've been staying away from them for now. But they'll come back.
Was that through training?
Hypers, yeah. Hypers are fine though.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't through training. I took 2 weeks off over Christmas to let my body rest before we go into prep.
Yeah.
And then I came back in, and I was doing legs, and then the next day I woke up and my lower back, the left side, was just frozen.
Yeah.
And it was inflamed. And it was an old injury that had just flared up. I don't know if I was slept funny or I twinged it in training, but I didn't quite feel it. Sometimes you don't feel it in training. It's like an adrenaline thing masking the pain, isn't it?
I've had loads of back. The amount of times I went to see Stuart Cosgrove over my career was unbelievable. And half the time, it was just, I remember once turning around too quickly.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
You know
For
what I
me,
mean?
it's the same.
And you get that shock.
Yeah.
I only got it the other day, would you believe? I've got one of these wood burners. Yeah. I picked it up. I'm like that. I thought, I just felt something then.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. When I'm in the gym and I'm ready for the movement, you're fine. You can lift heavy, but when you're picking a pen off the table and you're in the wrong angle, it could all of a sudden shock you back, couldn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's just so innocuous. It's the innocuous thing.
Yeah.
It's like when you hear about people getting bicep tears.
Yeah.
You know, some people have just. One guy told me, he said, "No, I was just moving, like just picked something up, like it was like I think it was some kind of fencing or something."
Yeah.
Bump.
Yeah. It's moving stuff in the house, isn't it?
Love, you carry on with that.
Well, yeah. I remember I was a few weeks out from the British where I won, and our neighbour opposite, he was outside his house, and then he shouted me over. He said, can you help me get this little fridge out the van? And I was like, no, I can't. And he looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, I've got a show in a few weeks. I can't. Goes, but what about all that weightlifting you do in the gym? And I'm thinking, well, I don't lift fridges in the gym. I don't go to the gym and lift fridges and TVs. And I felt a bit bad saying no, but
did you explain to him why?
I did. I said,
and did he understand that?
Yeah, he did. I said I've got to save all my energy for the gym. I'm depleted. I'm low on calories, and plus, if I lift something in a bad angle, I can. Then he started understanding. I think he was still laughing at me in his head. Probably, look at this big guy. He can't even lift a little fridge.
But they don't understand. That's the thing. I'd have done the same. I'd be like, whoa, no, you know, you've got to.
Because I've learned from my mistakes in the past.
Yeah,
do stupid stuff like arm wrestling someone or.
That
the worst thing you can do is.
I've done it. I've said, and people, how many people must come up to you?
Oh, when I used to go out more and socialise more, everyone when they're out when they're drunk, and you do it as well. And the next day you can't even.
It's there, and it's because
tendon.
But you're doing it a completely different way of movement that you're training in, and it's like agony in it.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like they just don't understand, and it's understandable. That they don't understand.
No, of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah.
It's such an extreme sport.
It is.
People look at you and you're this image of health and fitness and, well, when you're in shape anyway.
I was going to say.
I don't know when you're heavy.
You're talking about what you're weighing at the moment.
This morning I was 254.8.
And what was your last time you hit the stage?
228.
Not too far out,
no,
are you?
But to be fair, at 13 weeks out from New York last year, I was 270.
Was you?
So I think that was a bit too heavy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it translated to a very good look on stage, but I'm in a good position now because I'm carrying a lot less body fat. I've got more time with the weight I've got to play with, so I know I can come in eating more, which means I'll be bigger.
So, well, you the man who helps you in your corner with your nutrition is Chris Aceto, isn't it?
The technician.
The technician. Because Chris, a lot of people don't realise, Chris was a bodybuilder.
He was, people forget that because it was such a long time ago.
Yeah. But he got in great shape though, didn't he?
No, he did. He had a great taper. He'd be a great classic physique.
Yeah,
and he says it himself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember reading many articles because he used to write a lot for Flex at the one time.
Did.
You know, and I remember meeting him when I was in a limousine.
Yeah.
And it was me and Brian Batchelor. We were at the Arnold Classic, and Chris like, Brian, I need to pick your brains.
Chris said that. No way.
Yeah, Brian's the guy who everyone knows.
Oh right.
All the main guys used to know from back in the day, even now, and he's sort of like an unsung hero, if you get my meaning, because this guy, what Brian doesn't know, isn't worth knowing, if you get me. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. You sat there in a conversation with them and you go, you know, where you get that glazed look, and it's like, look, monkey going. What are you going on about, Brian? It's like, you know, it can be so technical. But he was like that, But I mean, Chris knows his stuff inside out.
Yeah, and it's because like days like that, he used to try and learn as much as he could.
Yeah.
He said, and back then it was harder to learn because there wasn't as, you know, there's no social media. He had a guy called Bob Grushkin in Maine where he lived, who taught him everything he knew, he said.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a bodybuilder. He smoked and he didn't have muscle. But he said everything he practices now, he learned off this guy. And he's not afraid to say it. The good thing about Chris is he'll never say, you know, if he doesn't know something, he'll tell you. Like,
What's the best way to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't know it, don't make it
And he's always learning.
Yeah.
And that's why I've stuck with him, because I don't agree with jumping coaches.
It's amazing how many people do that though, isn't it?
Yeah, I can. If you're not getting what you want,
yeah,
but you're not going to nail it first time, or maybe even the second time, but just give it some time together. And when they learn your body, you know, like you know yourself, you always did your own stuff, and it's because you knew your body best.
Yeah.
And I always thought I would go down the path of doing it myself, because
I was a very simple creature, actually.
I was
simple, stupid, and that's how I adopted that philosophy.
I was the same. Like I said, like from day one with that poster, everything was basic for me.
Yeah.
And the diet I did in Flex, I probably still do that diet now, but just different numbers, different amounts.
Yeah.
And that's why I've stuck with Chris, because he knows my body now. And every show we've improved. And last year I kind of thought I'm going to try a different route. Yeah. But the further I got away from it, I thought, there's no point leaving him, because we've got something really good here.
Yeah.
Like,
so was it purposeful then? Was it a collective decision, not to go as heavy this time round?
No, what me and Chris usually do is we just kind of go with the flow off season. So
Okay.
we don't have a set weight to hit or because I don't, with the bodybuilding supplements, I don't push them as much off season. That's just my way of doing it. That's the way I like it. And then that's the way Chris has taught
We'll
me.
come back to that.
Yeah. So,
which is good, actually.
which is good.
I like
and
to
then
hear
it,
that.
it holds me back from getting too heavy, which is also good. But I have to really hammer the food and the training.
Yeah.
So we never we do pictures. We always go by progress pictures. Same room in the house, same lighting, the same time of day.
Has to be, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, 100%. You can't, especially when someone's looking from the other side of the country, the world.
Yeah.
It needs to be as consistent as possible. So he'll see my pictures, and as long as I'm improving, getting bigger, and not getting too fat, then it's fine. Like he's not too fussed about weight. Until we get to prep, then weight comes into it a bit more because we need to lose it. But if I'm not getting heavier and heavier and heavier, but I'm looking better in the pictures, Chris is not, because he knows there's more than just numbers and size. It's how you look on stage. The judges don't know how much you weigh, and like we said before, the illusion factor. If I'm creating a bigger look, who cares if I'm putting 2 pounds on a week? Or losing 2 pounds a week. If I'm getting lean,
do you think that's what a lot of people are missing today?
Yeah. I think Corinne, Jordan's other half, said this to me the other day, which kind of made a lot of sense. She said, when I spoke to you 2 weeks out from New York, the only focus that you had was condition. She said you didn't care if you were big in your t-shirt or you felt big in the gym. She said, this is what separates you, because you're aiming to just get sliced.
Exactly.
And it made sense, because it's easy for a big bodybuilder to think, I'm losing all this weight. And
ego.
It is. And you do feel small in a t-shirt. Two guys that beat me, the guy beat me in New York, Sergio, the guy beat me, Cali, no one looked at them backstage.
No.
Because you look at him and you think, that's not a threat.
Yeah.
Akeem Williams, he's a threat. He's 280, and look how big he is. Look how pumped he is, veiny. No one looked at me. No one looked at Gerald. No one really looked at Sergio, because we were all like crouched over. We felt like crap.
Was this when you were covered up?
I'm always covered up until I have to. Yeah.
I remember the first time around I used to compete, and I remember the first time I won the first year I competed, I won the overall intermediates.
Yeah.
They used to separate it. And I dressed in black.
Yeah.
And I looked tiny.
Yeah.
And I'm only short anyway. And it's like, weighing about 12 stone, 12 stone 3.
Yeah.
Remember,
which isn't
big,
much.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, the juniors, who under 21, was like 6'2", and looked at me, and we had this conversation, and he's looking at, so what you do in the juniors? I went, no, but I'll take it as a compliment. I'm 24, 25. And he just sort of looked at me and just say, look at you, little flea.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, and, I'd won the overall that year, and I was absolutely peeled to the bone, but, that was my calling card. And that's something that you are now.
Yep, 100%.
That's what you're known for. Yeah. A guy with muscle, great shape, but great conditioning as well. And that's I look at that picture there, and you're one of the physiques, and I'm not just saying that because you crossed the table from us. It's like that in the pro ranks, for me, personifies muscle, size, shape, what I consider bodybuilding to be.
Yeah, you've always said that.
I have, and I remember from when I first met you. I mean, I think the first time I actually saw you on stage was it
Warrington, I think it was.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it was.
Was it Lahani that introduced? Someone brought you backstage.
Yeah,
to show you my quads.
Yeah,
and you came over, and he said, and I think you might have even got a penny out. Can you fit a penny between my quad separation? Yeah. I remember that, and that was probably I think that was the first time me and you met.
Yeah,
and then you saw me win the overall that day.
It sounds about right, because that's what it's about. You get. I know it sounds daft, but it's like you want the separation to be like coin slot.
Yeah, extreme,
because
it never looks as extreme on stage, does it?
Well, it depends on how you're looking.
Well, no, exactly. I mean?
But also, it can depend on lighting, where you are, the stage. But when you're right up close, you go.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. People might see themselves in gym lighting and they look shredded.
Yeah.
But then that might not always translate to what you're going to look like on
stage. And alongside that is the circle of influence.
Exactly.
The people that are around you.
People who are talking, who you're listening to. If they're saying that you're ready and you're not.
Because I used to remember, I say to people, if I say you're ready,
then
trust me, you're ready.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when Kerry or Dorian used to say, they go, right, you're ready.
Yeah.
You knew you was ready.
Yeah. But I don't think many people know what ready is anymore. Outside of the stage. Because I've come to realise I have to really look like crap in the hotel room the night before for me to look amazing on stage.
Yeah, because some of them hotel room lightings are shy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
You're looking going...
I know, it's true. And and some people just come in, I think, too full as well.
The excuse of saying too full, they're not getting the fat off, are they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, then when you're shredded, you're not going to really hold much water, are you? When you're that lean and your skin is that tight, well, you can't really spill over as much, I don't think.
Well, if you've got every ounce of fat off, if your diet is that clean, do you not honestly think, I mean, all this about holding water and that, and it's like, what if you're eating the basic foods?
Yeah.
It's like, how can that happen? I mean, what Chris Aceto obviously sets out.
Okay.
What is your diet sort of like? Let's go. We can go back to the off season, but when you're getting ready for a show, let's go through your day. What a typical day's diet.
My typical training day diet right now. I'll wake up. I'll have
because you're in the contest.
I'm in prep now.
Prep mode. Yeah.
We'll be having whey protein, porridge with water for breakfast.
How much porridge?
1 cup, so about 100 grams.
That's the American way.
Well,
cup. Well, there's a cup,
Chris.
There's a glass.
You know what I mean? A measuring cup. You're right. You're right.
Is that what it is in America?
They do cups.
There's a standard cup, is it? That's
when they do stuff like rice.
Yeah.
And oats, and it's cooked, or the oats it's dry. They'll do a measuring cup.
Yeah.
And at first, when Chris,
I've never heard.
Until I met Chris.
Yeah.
What's all this?
Chris, you're confusing us here in the UK.
And because I'm me and I don't question anything. I went and researched it myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's this cup? Or how many different cups is there? And what's the weight? And now it's natural to me because I've done it for so long with Chris. But it's 100 grams.
Yeah.
100 grams dry.
Yeah.
70 grams of protein from whey.
Yeah.
And water. That's it.
So there's quite a lot of protein in that because overall you got are you actually getting 70 grams of actual protein from the whey?
From the whey.
Then you've got another 10, haven't you, from the oats? So you got 80 grams there.
Well, with Chris, we don't count the indirect.
You see, I had this conversation.
but I will say it does matter. But when your meals are the same every day, Chris will know.
Yeah, I know that.
He'll know that there's there.
Yeah.
So I can't go and change the oats for.
No,
for say baby powder.
No.
Then it'll change.
I understand that. I
know what I mean?
Yeah, I sort of say I'm on that much, but there's a bit of hidden protein as well.
Yeah. Well, Chris likes a higher protein in prep.
Yeah.
So my protein's a bit lower when I'm off season because carbs and fats are higher.
Makes sense.
Yeah. When I'm in prep, I generally do a lower carb diet and no added fats. So protein has to.
So you have low fats.
I don't add any fats.
But so what would
I have one steak meal?
Right. So let's go. Sorry, let's go back.
Yeah,
so
you've
got 100 grams of oats, 70 grams of protein from whey.
Yep.
Do you have any fruit with that at all? Or?
Not that meal, no.
No. Okay.
So that's cooked with water.
Yep.
And then my meal 2 will be 10-ounce cooked chicken.
10 ounces, which is 280, 85.
Yep, 280 cooked.
83 or something, 85 or something like that.
And 1 cup of rice.
100 grams.
Which is 50 grams of cooked rice.
Oh, 50 grams of cooked rice?
50 grams of carbs, sorry.
Got to say
carbs,
then, cooked rice would be like...
Yeah. No. 50 grams of carbs. 45 grams of carbs per cup.
Per cup. So, yeah, you're roughly... That's not even 50 grams of dry rice.
No, it's not a lot.
Oh, is it? Wait, 45 grams. Sorry, it is a bit more. So it's 6, 7... So it's about 65 grams of dry rice. Yeah.
So that's meal 2. Just chicken and rice. I'll have some veg with it. And then
what particular veg would you have?
Right now, I like sliced greens, which is just green cabbage.
Yeah.
I like kale and spinach.
I like
a salad type. Yeah, I know.
It's coming to vogue, yeah. We never had kale. I was known as broccoli Hodgson, you know what I mean? So,
well, I used to do broccoli, but I think I did it that much.
And I don't even have it now.
In the off season, I eat so much food that my veg consumption is quite low. So if I can get it in leaf form, it takes up less space.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's very nutritious as well.
So how'd you cook your kale?
If I'm at home, I'll throw it on the pan.
Yeah.
1 or 2 little olive oil, 1 calorie sprays on the pan.
Yeah.
Throw the kale and the sliced greens, and then I just let it heat up, and it kind of just gets a little bit crispy. Yeah. And it's quite nice.
I tried roasting kale about 2 weeks ago. It was an absolute disaster.
Did you use any oil though?
Yeah, just a little bit. I think the oven was on too high, and I'd left it in for far too long.
Crisp.
Was it like the seaweed you get from Chinese?
Yeah, well, worse than that. It was like pure carbon, you know.
No,
it was horrendous.
Seaweed would have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been right.
Yeah.
So let's go back again because we so breakfast we've sorted. So you got rice and chicken.
Yeah, meal 2.
Meal 2, meal 3.
Meal 3 is my pre-workout meal.
Okay.
So I'll go back to 70 grams of protein from whey.
Yeah.
100 grams of oats.
Okay.
And I'll have a cup of blueberries.
Right, okay.
Fresh blueberries. So a little bit of fruit there. And then I'll go train.
How long before you train?
Usually about an hour.
Yeah.
Depends if I'm in the death end of prep and your body's just burning everything up.
Yeah.
I try and do it like 40 minutes before training.
Yeah.
And then I'll go train. Right now I'm just sipping water through training.
Yeah.
I don't really have an intra shake. And then post-workout, I'll go home and I'll cook 15 egg whites.
Yeah.
This is my choice. Chris said fish, but
okay.
I did fish for the first week, and I do this every prep. I'll start with fish, and for some reason it just goes right through me. And I tried haddock, cod, tuna, and I don't like fish, but I'll eat stuff I don't like in prep. I don't care.
Yeah.
But this was just going through me.
Just in case if it wasn't sitting right.
It just wasn't sitting right. And it happened in the last prep. And I said to Chris, he said, all right, well, what do you want to have? I said, I can have turkey or egg whites. Because egg whites is low fat as well.
Basic bodybuilding food.
Yeah, and I like egg whites. I don't mind. So I have 15 egg whites, which is roughly 60 grams of protein. And I'll have 2 cups of cooked pasta.
Do you have no yolks? No yolks in that at all?
Not with that meal. If I was to have egg whites, I've had yolks with him before, but my carbs are quite moderate right now. So if we were to drop really low, he'll add a yolk in.
So you'd have the 15 egg whites, and what would you have with carbs with that?
Pasta.
Pasta?
Yeah.
And how many grams of carbs from pasta?
2 cups, which is roughly 65 grams of carbs.
Right.
So a little bit higher on the carbs with that meal, with it being post-workout. And then that's it for my carb meals.
Right.
So that's meal 4, which is not a lot.
I'd be spitting feathers, me.
I know. But it's fine because I eat so much in the off season. Yeah, I look forward to not eating as much because I have to eat a lot. Like I said, with the supplements, with my body type now, because I've been training every day, consistently for 15 years. It's really hard for me to put weight on. Very hard. Right. Like I just always get stuck at a certain body weight, and with me being in the open, I need to try and add a little bit of size at least every year. So I end up eating. I end up probably eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day in the off season. So by the end of it, I'm just like, wow, I don't want to eat anything.
So what's your 5th meal then? So you've had
that's
your
meal
post-workout.
5th meal is 12 ounce cooked weight chicken. So a high protein meal, but just veg with that again.
Okay.
And then my 6th meal is egg whites and veg.
15 egg whites again.
Yeah. So I cook that with onion and a few mushroom.
So break us down. So let's remind people. And so we've gone through the diet. So what's that? What's the protein? What's the protein intake and the carb intake and the fat intake approximately?
I've not tallied it all up at the moment, but roughly it's between 400 to 450 protein.
Wow,
which is high.
That is a lot.
The carbs are around 300.
Yeah,
and no added fats. I get a steak meal on a rest day, but pretty much the only fats are in my chicken breast and porridge.
And how would that vary as you that's now? So how would that alter?
To be honest, it doesn't, because with Chris and because of what he's learned with my body, when we start prep, he likes to just kickstart things.
Yeah. Do you start off with do you do cardio?
Well, we used to, but my right knee has gotten to the point where we're really trying to be selective with my cardio, just
what's happened with your right knee?
It's just chronic tendonitis.
Really? What's brought
it? I think it was squats early on.
Right.
I'm not made to squat.
Right.
And I always squatted because I thought...
Got good legs on, mate. As I said, penny slots.
And it's not built with squats.
No.
My legs are built with hack squats and leg press.
Well, people sort of say, you've got to squat. And I think...
People always used to say it.
Squat is good.
Yeah.
But, well, if you're doing leg press or hack squat...
Yeah.
You're still putting the muscle under tension.
Yeah, you're right. And Dorian again.
Dorian
was another one who didn't like squats.
He had a hip operation, didn't he, because of it?
Hip issues, yeah. He said when he stopped squatting, he said his legs actually grew more. So that was years ago. I heard him say that in an interview or an article.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm not gonna. I used to.
You panic.
Yeah.
I'm not squatting. I'm not going to get big legs.
Well, I used to think, and I used to be a decent squatter. I didn't break any records, but I did 220 for 12 reps just before I stopped.
Yeah.
But that was, again, my leg day was full of compounds. Like I'd start with the squat, then I'd go into Smith squat.
Yeah.
After barbell squat, then I'd go into hack squat, then I'd do the leg press, which is why probably my knee is.
Yeah.
But I could do it, so I just did it, and I held strength really well throughout the session, so I didn't see any reason to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it
works, but at a cost.
Big cost, because I have to be really.
How long after did you start to know? When you was training like that,
for 6 years,
and then did you start to feel like the tendonitis?
Yeah, I remember one day I was squatting, and I used to be able to squat 4 plates quite easy.
Yeah,
and I was warming up. I got to 3 plates, and I got all the way down, and then my knee I just felt this sharp, like someone stuck a little pin in my patella tendon.
Yeah,
but I got it back up and I racked it, and then I went over to hack squats, and it was the same pain. And ever since then, I think I was 27, just after my first show, pretty much.
Right.
I was like, I just kept getting this same pain on everything since that sharp little nudge, and that's when I started looking into, okay, do I need to squat? Yeah. And to be fair, earlier on I never went all the way down, and that was just my natural squat. I went to parallel.
Yeah.
And then people started saying, "Oh no, it's not proper squat. You need to go ass to grass," which I agree with. That's fine. Tom Platz did it. He squatted narrow and low down.
Yeah.
But I started thinking I need to go wide and I need to stay parallel because my knee just doesn't like getting stretched too much.
Yeah.
It wasn't the stretch. It was just the movement. It was my leave, my shin height, my thigh bone. It's just not the height that I need to have for a really good squat.
Yeah.
So when I started focusing more on the leg press, that pain started shifting away again. But then
how far do you get? This is a debate as well. Sorry, jumping in there, but
no, it's fine.
with leg press, you always see people. How far do you go
back? Well, this is why I found earlier on I could squat heavy without going too far back.
Yeah.
And being a bit of ego, sometimes you want to just throw the weights on.
Yeah.
You get like 600 kilo and whack out 12 reps, but they're just like pump reps.
Yeah.
And I remember one day there was a guy called Phil Lewis, an old school bodybuilder.
Phil Lewis?
Yeah.
Phil,
Phil.
Bloody hell, I've not seen him for a long time. Macclesfield guy.
Yeah. Well, he was probably the first guy ever to say to me that you're going to be a good bodybuilder. And I just laughed at the time.
Because he used to get in great shape.
He did,
very fast metabolism, trained hard.
Strong.
But his knees went, didn't they? Both of them.
Well, he came over to me when I was doing legs. And I just finished my last set on leg press. He said, do another set. So I got in and I did my reps and I did my 12 reps and that was it. And he goes, "Okay, hold the weight." He said, bring it down. And I went past 90 and he said, "Okay, come up halfway and just do 5 reps." Then he made me do all these mad half reps and stretched and then pause at the bottom. And I got off and I was like, I couldn't get up. I was crawling. I was like, what was that? And then he's like, you've got to find different ways to do this leg press without just doing the same kind of movement. He said, stretch. He goes, go wide and stretch down. He goes, you don't have to go as heavy, so it's less load on your knees and your hips.
And was you going down slow on the negative?
Yeah, I always did that anyway. That just, to be fair, naturally, I always had a good tempo on my reps.
Yeah.
I never did really quick reps. I never did super slow reps.
How would the tempo be? How long would it take to do a good, decent rep then?
At this point in time, my negatives are very slow. my negatives are probably between 3 and 4 seconds.
That is good. That's proper time.
Yeah.
That's a proper time under tension.
Yeah, that is. My training is a lot of time under tension, simply because I just want to have longevity, just so I could lift less weight.
Strengthens the tendons up as well.
It does, yeah. That negative, it does the negative stress on your tendon with the slow negative.
Yeah.
It's,
well, the reason why I know I can relate to what you're saying, because it happened to me many years ago, back in the day. And I was always a very, very strong squatter in the early days, and I had to stop it because my legs were getting that big. Yeah. And my backside, well, everyone knows about. You know what I mean? I've got rump and half. But then I had to stop squatting, but I was using the hat squat. Yeah. And for some reason, when we use the word supplements. I mean, I wasn't even using anything. One sustanon it was a week because I just couldn't be bothered. Yeah. And my strength went through the roof, and there was 820s a side I got to. I'm normally doing 6, and that was heavy.
Hack squat.
This was on hack squat and back in Better Bodies. And then for some reason I did 6, and I said to Paul, who was training with, that was dead easy. Got 7, another 10, no problem. Got to 8, did it. The next day, my knees were killing me. I had to go and see Stuart. Yeah. It was actually my left knee, and he made me have this, and I had to build a plinth, which was 45-degree angle. I had to lean against the wall, and he said, I want you to come down 10-second negative, and then 10-second positive. And at just my body weight against the wall with my feet position there. And it took about probably 4 to 6 weeks to get it back, but it worked.
And you didn't feel anything in the session?
No, as in I had to rehabilitate. I was just doing leg extensions, if you get what I mean, because I paid the price. Yeah. Didn't think it. I didn't feel it at the time. Yeah. It was just the same as next day.
That was the same as me a lot of the times.
Yeah. And it's like, so the point being is if you've got knee problems, that does actually work.
Oh, it does.
It's that plinth like that.
Yeah.
So if you ever find that, just
start doing it.
Maybe it might be worth looking at doing that, because it worked wonders for me. It was Stuart Cosgrove who said, right, get a plinth built. It was about a little triangle, block. Yeah. And about 45-degree spot.
And so your heels would be off the floor.
Yeah, so you're at 45. So your feet
and you'd be leaning on the wall.
And lean against the wall, and then you just come down for 10 seconds and then go up for 10 seconds and just do that for, say, 10 reps or so. Yeah. But it did help. Again, because like what you've just said there is you're working now smart. Yeah, hard, but smart.
Yeah, it's that mix, it's that fine line.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to train like a pussy. I need to train. I need to still train as hard as I can, but I am thinking about my future.
But do you not think though that how you train is probably harder?
Well, to be fair, yeah. It's that typical. I like to call it social media hype. People like to throw videos of them, squatting 6 plates and doing this and doing that. So it's been that. It's gone round that much that people have it just instilled in their mind that you have to do a certain thing, like you have to squat, you have to deadlift for a big back, or you have to do this, you have to do that. But what I say is, if you're, and Dorian always said it, if you're firing up that muscle and you're taking it to failure across a full range of movement, it's gonna grow. Your muscle doesn't know what you're doing. It doesn't know what a bar is. It doesn't know what a hack squat is. All it knows is it's gone to failure under a certain amount of load. And you can take it to failure in different ways. It doesn't have to be adding 5 kilo every week. You're going to be lifting. You're going to have to be lifting crazy amounts to be doing that. And people get hurt. And I've noticed with all the big guys that I've trained with, at some point in time, they've slowed their reps down. Yeah. Jose said it the other night.
Jose Raymond.
Jose, I speak to Jose.
Do you?
Lot, yeah.
I've not spoken to Jose.
He's great.
I'll have to get him on here when he comes over.
If he's in the country, I'll tell him 100%.
Someone give him a shout. I'll have to give him a shout. So good shout out to Jose.
If he's here for Body Power,
definitely.
Because for a few days.
Because last time I saw him was when I used to have was involved when they had the Evolution Gym. It was a Grand Prix.
Yeah. That was when I met him.
Do you know the first thing he said? This is funny. This Jose Raymond, who competed. I think it was Dallas. I think one of the. I competed, and I think I'm not sure whether he competed. Yeah. And I always remember, he said that was it. Backstage, he just went, "My God," he said, "the size of your ass." He was even taking the mickey out of me and said, "Hey, gets in shape though." But yeah, it was funny that he was taking the mickey out of me in this hotel lobby.
He's a joker.
Oh, he is, yeah. But I love that. I love banter.
Well. It's guys like him that have taught me that you don't need to be that serious and hardcore all the time. Yeah. I stayed with him in Boston for a week.
Have you? Yeah.
For a few days when I competed in New York.
Yeah.
He said, "Just come stay near us. I'll take you everywhere you need to go."
He's a proper nice guy.
Oh, very. He's another one of my best friends now, and he'll be watching this.
How did you get to know Jose then?
I met him through a guy called Dusty Hanshaw,
right?
Which is he's an Ifbb pro who also introduced me to Chris.
Right. Okay.
I owe quite a lot to Dusty.
Right.
And I knew Dusty because when I was prepping for my first show, I was on YouTube in between meals. That's when I was starting to get into the scene. I was starting to watch other bodybuilders, what they do, how they live, how they cook, how they eat. And Dusty's videos kept coming up, and I really liked his videos because it was I'd seen training for years. Like I'd seen training videos, and I had Dorian's videos. That was enough for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what people do outside of the gym. And Dusty's videos were cool. They were cooking, and he kind of point the point across that you don't need to. You can still have different stuff in prep with it being super clean. You don't have to have no salt. You need salt, and this is that.
Why did he say that you need salt? What was his point on that? I remember I used to never have salt on mine in the early years.
I was the same, and I used to just you didn't feel anything.
No.
You felt like a dead.
Yeah.
You never felt a pump. You never, because I always got told by the first guy who helped me, don't have no salt, no sauce, no nothing. So my first prep, I was like cooking my chicken dry, having pepper on it, and maybe a little bit of lemon juice, tiny bit. That was it.
Didn't even have that, me. Lemon juice.
Well, that was probably, that was pushing it. I remember once I had a blob of ketchup, and I texted him. I said, "I've just cheated on my diet." He goes, "Oh no, what have you had?" I said, "I've just had some ketchup." And he didn't say, "Don't worry." He said, "Don't worry, go." He said, "Go to the gym and burn it off. It's okay."
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, funny you should mention ketchup. The reason why I'm laughing and can relate to this so much, because I always remember Chris Cormier coming over and he was doing some seminars and that, and I was prepping. And next minute, he gets his ketchup out and he's prepping for it. And he goes, I went, "What are you doing, Chris?" He went, "Man, you need sodium. I went, "What?" Yeah, because otherwise you won't get, your strength will drop, and you need all these, like the minerals in there for functioning and water, so you hold the right amount of water, and I'm out. And then it just clicked, and I went, "Wow!" And prep was never
made sense.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, ketchup was my best friend in prep.
It became mine. I was like,
sauce.
I didn't have tons of it, but
no, just enough to give some flavour, some sodium, and sea salt. I have, and Chris was the other one who made sure I had enough.
It's
sodium.
so important. Sodium is so. But we're not on about tons. We're on about just keeping a sensible level in
amount as well every day.
Can I just throw something in here, because it's something that not a lot of people understand or know much about, is the vitamin and mineral intake. So sodium we've got there for one instance. What's the importance of keeping those levels, and what's the key sort of vitamins and minerals that you do need in a bodybuilding diet?
Well,
do you take those type of supplements as well?
Well, sodium, to start with, it's like a transporter. So it transports nutrients. So we'll go to the nutrients in a minute, but sodium, it takes stuff to your blood vessels.
Yeah.
So without sodium, you're pretty much not going to have that transport in your veins. So what happens when you cut sodium out? Not only will your body not have that kind of fluid balance that it needs, which is what, because when everyone's had a massive cheat meal after a week of hard dieting and blown up the next day, and you panic because you think it's water retention.
Yeah,
your body's compensating because it's not seen sodium for so long, and then all of a sudden it's seen this big load, so it holds it because it thinks it's not going to see it again for a while, or it's just a massive shock to the system. So just to keep body fluids at a balance, at a good balance, you need sodium. That's one reason, and the other thing is transporting nutrients. So when you're in the gym and you're training and you've not had any sodium, it's not really going to get that glycogen to your muscle like it should, or the other nutrients. So that's what people, and when you sweat, you're sweating out sodium. So not only are you losing sodium, so if you're not putting it back in your system, it's missing something. So it's really going to offset everything. And nutrients, I think potassium, you don't really need to take it, but that balances out the sodium as well. That helps balance everything out. But it comes with a lot of the foods we eat.
Yeah.
Some of the veg, potato, some of the green veg. It's in enough of
I used to have a couple of bananas in my
Bananas.
diet.
Well, yeah, banana, yeah.
But you don't, the thing is that with potassium is that you don't go overboard with potassium.
Yeah, you shouldn't know.
Why is that, John?
Well, especially when you're going, you're actually hitting the stage, and there are certain elements that you can use to dry you out, and if you can then overdo potassium, where it's like not needed, and then you can go the opposite end, and you go into what do they call hypokalemia? Is it or something they call it? I can't think of the name.
Basically, like a heart attack, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you'll end up, and
Really?
you can
Right.
it's that's very dangerous. So that's what they used to do. If you want to give someone if someone caused a heart attack, overdose them with potassium.
Serious?
I was told that's what happened to Mohammed Ben Aziza when he died.
Right.
Because by all accounts, I remember reading it. I think it was Milos who was saying about the fact that when Mohammed Ben Aziza, because he dried out and used heavy use of diuretics, he was that dry. The doctor went in and pumped in a load of potassium minerals and all that, thinking this is the electrolytes. You know what I mean? And it was, and that's what was said.
That's crazy.
That's what he reckons. That's why he actually died.
Yeah.
So who knows? But it was you'd have to be doing a hell of a lot of potassium. I mean, in the off season, we're talking extreme end.
Yeah.
But it's all about balance, isn't it?
Yeah. The mix of low salt, which the low salt brand.
Yeah.
That's I think it's something like 70 or 80% potassium. That's what replaces the sodium. There's still sodium in it. But it's like
stuff you get in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
No.
What kind of salt do you use?
I just use pink salt, which is
like the Himalayan.
Yeah, the Himalayan pink salt. Yeah,
natural.
I try not to use the usual table.
No,
salt
because
type
that's
stuff.
like
processed.
Processed.
Well, just over an hour now, guys. Just think throw a few questions in that have been sent in, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Okay?
Well, I was just going to cut back in to back to where we were, but I'm not where we're up to. So
Remember where we're at.
Oh, I know where I'm at. I think.
Just do a Billy Connolly and come back to it in 20 minutes. Okay, question 1. Jacob from Dewsbury. What's the most effective back exercise? I seem to do well in other areas, but my back seems to have plateaued. Back exercise.
For me, if I had to pick one, it would be the barbell row.
Definitely. I'm glad you said that. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you find a lot of people shy away from that.
I think they do
or they don't do it.
They don't do it enough, or they don't do it well enough.
How do you position your? How's your back positioned? Because remember back in the day, Arnold was like right over.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that
was
far.
Up there.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I'm such that when my arms are extended, the bar is about my knee level.
Yeah,
and I'm pulling it right into my hips and my stomach.
Do you pause at the top, or do you actually just get a slight little nip and then down slowly?
Yeah, not a big pause, but I make sure I'm getting that contraction.
Because it's an in between a powerful movement and
it's like so it's not something that you want to do super slow.
Yeah,
but it's not something that you want to really let go because you've got a lot of weight pulling you down.
That's what Dorian said to me. He said, no. He said you don't need to overly pause. He said it's more of a power movement, but with control. Yeah. So you're not snapping or throwing at it.
It's something you want to get the weight on the bar a bit, but keep it strict as you can.
Yeah,
100% barbell row for me.
Yeah, definitely. Because people think it's not about. They think that's just thickness, and it's not, is it?
No, it works everything. It works, and then on the Smith, if you got any lower back issues, on the Smith, you're so strict in the movement. It's very much on your back thickness and width.
I might give the Smith a go. Actually.
It's very good. It takes away your lower back. Used to. Yeah, you can really load.
Do you do
it up.
over or underhand?
I do over because I've just seen some. I always used to hear horror stories about underhand.
It does, didn't it?
Yeah, so and it never felt strong for me.
Yeah,
it never felt as sturdy.
Rotating of this.
Yeah, I can't even rotate them properly. So it's just. So it never did.
You pointed out then the overhand underhand.
Yeah,
what's the risk factor of?
Because I don't have a problem in supinating the wrist round. Some people get to there and it's like, well, I can't really because the bar's straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to really twist your wrist right round, so you can get hold of the bar.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't go beyond that. That's why if you are doing an underhand grip, you've got the EZ bar.
Yeah.
So the EZ bar will work
easier on you.
because you're at that position where it's more natural.
Yeah.
Right.
And what they say with the underarm, it just allows you to drive that little bit more further back, a bit more power, but then you can run the risk of tearing a bicep.
Weak link there.
It happened to Doz, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was the famous Dorian bicep.
Your bicep's a weak link in that movement.
Definitely.
So when you're exposing your bicep, when you're overhand, you got your forearm. You got your outside of your arm and less biceps. So you're protected.
But in a way, I suppose it's all about driving that power. But again, the risk to benefit ratio,
to risk ratio, which we keep coming back to, don't we?
Okay. I think I just learned a new word then, John. You were talking about turning your call that
supinate.
Supinate.
Yeah, supination, isn't it?
I'm going to add that to my vocabulary.
Might be made up, but it sounds.
No, I think you're right there.
Yeah, supinate. Okay, got another question. I hope that answers your question, Jacob. And send us in some photographs over the next few months. See how your back progress is getting on. Johnny from Northampton. I'm new to the sport, but came first in my local show last year. How do I go about getting a sponsor?
Ooh. He's new to the sport.
Yeah.
Well, don't even think about getting a sponsor as far as I'm concerned.
I thought you might say
just concentrate on, you've got to earn your spot. For me, this is not being horrible. I mean, it's a fair question, but I think it's because of the way in which people are now looking. They think, well, I can't do anything if I don't have a sponsor, which is nonsense. Mm-hmm. This game is about what you do in the gym and then, earning your stripes. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I agree. I completely agree. I mean, right now I said I've got a sponsor in Jordan.
Yeah.
And also Strength Asylum Gym.
Yeah.
But they're not distracting me from doing what I want to do, which I see too much with sponsors these days.
But that's because Jordan is very acutely aware of what a bodybuilder's about.
Yeah. And
he's a bodybuilder.
Yep. It's food, training, rest.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm comfortable with Jordan, because he lets me be a bodybuilder. I'm not saying sponsors don't do that, but going back to your point, when I was earlier on in my journey, my biggest focus was just to grow and just to become a really good bodybuilder. But nowadays it seems like the focus is the other way around. Like, let me get a sponsor, and then I'll become a good bodybuilder. People don't. It's not glamorous. Like, the sponsors will get you doing this, that, and the other, and it most likely, more often than not, it'll distract you from the basics, which is your rest, your sleep, your food.
A good sponsor will fully understand what is required for you to excel as an athlete 100%. And get the results you need when you're up on stage, and not to hinder that progress. Because nothing's worse if you're asking too much of an athlete, and then that's eating into recovery time and taking people out, because it's routine, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And there can certain things that can take you out of that routine. I remember Flex, when he was with Gaspari, Flex Lewis. Gaspari had him here, there and everywhere. And, luckily for Flex, he got away with that. But, it could have really...
Especially when you're starting out. Yeah. When you're starting out, you need to just focus.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to become a name through a sponsor. Yeah. I'm lucky enough where the sponsor I have had, they've all been really cool, but I put the time in before they approached me, and they always approached me. You have to put your name out these days, but I thought, okay, if I'm good enough on stage, then people will want to sponsor me. I didn't want to go out and seek sponsorship, because I'm someone who, I like to be on my own 2 feet.
Yeah, but you want to be able to go for them to come to you.
Yeah, that always made sense. I said, okay, well, if I can win the trophies,
that's more important.
Then that was always my mindset.
Yeah.
But now it seems to be going away from that.
Yeah.
Now social media seems to be somewhat more important than what you're achieving on stage. And to me, as a bodybuilder, it's how you're doing in the ranks. If you keep climbing the ranks, set your name as a good bodybuilder, then the good sponsors will come for you.
I won the first year I competed in '93. I won the intermediates, British twos overall. Won all my shows that year. Following year, come fourth in the British middleweights. Following year, won the middleweights. Didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have no sponsor. And it's like, and even the latter year when I did the Olympia 202 showdown, and then the last time I competed, which was 2 years later in 2011, 7 years, again I didn't have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Have you ever turned down a sponsor? Either of you?
I walked away from. Depends on what kind of sponsorship you're on about. I'm turning that down.
I'm not saying if you were sponsored by them and then you severed ties. I'm talking about, have you ever turned down an offer of sponsorship?
Yeah.
You know, is that come about in you?
Yeah, because I've had it where people have said, well, we'll give you this. And I was like, no chance. I'm worth a lot more than that. Thank you very much. I value who I am. I value my achievements. And you want me to endorse your products for next to nothing? Don't think so.
That's it. That's the other thing. Like, people think, okay, well, I'll work with them for free, or I'll do this and that, and then I'll grow with them. No, it's
no chance.
No, for me, it's last year was a turning point, because I thought I really want to I need the next 2 years to be all about me. Like, it might sound selfish, but I know I can be a top 6 Olympian, but I'm not going to get there if I've got distractions. Not yet. Let me get there.
But that's a dummy mindset, though, isn't it? Again, you're thinking, what about this? But it's selfish. It
is, and it has to be, though. It has to be. Yeah. If I can sit at home and just be in my own bubble, that's when I'm the best bodybuilder. Not when I'm here, there, and everywhere, or thinking of 3 posts a day to put on social media. I'm not that. It's not me.
No.
Like, I've been told over the years, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, it's just not. I don't want to be who I'm. I don't want to be a different person.
That doesn't give you a win on a stage, does it?
No.
Exactly. Like, my thing is, I need my physique to do the talking. For my physique to do the talking, my training, my food, and my rest need to be 100% year round. I can't have any distractions. I'm not doing this for the love of body. I love bodybuilding, I love training, but I'm not going to put it all on the line for 6th place or 8th place or 2nd place. Yeah. I want to win a show.
Yeah.
So everything I do now needs to be geared towards
which he should have done anyway, but we'll come back to that one as well.
So it might not be the answer you're looking for, Johnny, but it was definitely a good question.
It was a very good question, because it's very pertinent towards today's society and the way people expect.
Just don't be distracted.
No, focus on your goal, innit?
Yep.
Yeah, they'll come to you.
Exactly.
Okay, Mike from Liverpool, you seem like a nice, calm guy. I think that's a compliment.
Thank you.
What gets you revved up to attack the gym, or what gets you angry?
When I get beat.
Okay.
I didn't know that feeling until I got beat by Nathan D'Asher in 2014. Up until that point, I pretty much won everything. And the year before, I lost the overall to
Ricardo.
Yeah. I was fine with that, because I came in off. Like, I was probably 8 pound over.
I had a chat with you actually about that, didn't I?
I was completely off. I was soft.
I said, if you'd have nailed your condition, you'd have got it.
I knew I had the win, but Ricardo was sharp, he was shredded, he was full. I missed that mark, so that didn't bother me.
No.
But that did drive me for the next year. But I came into the next year thinking, I'm going to win this show. I'm the best one here today. But it was a different kind of confidence. It was too much in a way.
Can happen.
It can, but I needed that. And I needed to get beat by Nathan. Like, from all the way from backstage, I'm not scared to say he psyched me out backstage as well. For the first time. And since then, my mindset changed towards being backstage. I was looking at him pumping up thinking, what the hell is that? Why does he look so big? Why does he look so... And it psyched me out all of a sudden. But without me knowing it, because I thought I had this win, but this guy looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And I got beat, and I didn't win my weight class for the first time in 4 shows. And I remember my uncle tapping me on my shoulder afterwards when everyone was like, "Oh, you should have won." And he tapped me on my shoulder and he said, "You needed that loss." I thought, why? And then I went home, and then when it all sunk in, when I got back in the gym, I was like, this is lit, a different kind of fire, because I trained my ass off that year. And I came in the year after, and I was in my best condition ever, my best look, and I had the right confidence. Like, I went out like it was my show.
Yep.
And to be honest, that same thing happened last year when Gerard beat me, because he's doing the same show. So that is motivating me like crazy.
What happened? What altered the mindset? What is it that changed?
I think this is where a champion will either... Or no, not champion, but this is where you either become a champion or you'll give in because you thought it was glamorous. So when nobody cares about you because you've lost, but you're more hungry than ever, I think that's what makes a champion. Yeah. I think being able to come back, and I'd never felt that before, but when I knew I could be so good at something, I just need to try harder. That was what motivated me. Because if I just kept winning, then...
Blessing, wasn't it, really?
It was, 100%. And I even said that to Nathan, and I was like, you motivated me like crazy. Like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry to beat him one day.
Everyone can enjoy the highs. The real test of anyone's character and mental strength is how you bounce back when it doesn't fall the way you expect it to.
And we all have more low days than everyone has more low days than
Lee Powell just said to me, you know what, John? Someone said to me, you know, oh, look at what you did on the side. He said, yeah, but think about it. He said, I never won a bloody pro show. And I didn't. I came second twice. Yeah. So it's like, hey, hold on a minute. You know, it's like, we didn't. However, we come second and we both got to the Olympia stage, even though it was in the 202 class. Yeah. But it's like, the amount of times people used to say to me, you know, oh, when I was doing the open class and like getting 14th, 13th, 12th, 10th, got 7th. And it was like, oh, when are you going to quit, John? I'm like, no. Yeah. What are you on about? I'm going back to the drawing board.
That's exactly it. A winner will never quit.
Yeah, quitter never wins.
Yeah, exactly. Quitter never wins.
I didn't win as a pro, but I mean, I won my own personal battle in that, but I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. So that motivates me.
Yeah. So that's what fuels the fire and gives you the intensity.
Recently, yes. I never thought it would. I never thought I was the kind of person to be driven by a win or even a paycheck. I don't really care. I'm not really mind saying it, but I want to make something. Like, I want to be somebody on stage. I don't want to be just a pro making up numbers. That motivates me. I know it's different to most people's situation who are watching this, because maybe you won't get to a pro level, but maybe you will. But for me, it's being a winning pro. That motivates me, like, because I know I can. I know I can win a show.
Definitely.
It's motivating me a lot.
Good. Okay, well, I think we spent enough time on questions. Just got just a couple more. These are for John.
Yeah.
D Yates, when am I coming in on the podcast?
Who's that?
D Yates.
Dorian Yates.
It just says D Yates.
D Yates. Is he asking that, is he? Anytime, does. Anytime.
And just another quick one as well from Zed Khan. I don't know who that is.
Oh,
John, you pussy boy. When he was training.
If only back in the day. Hey, I'm retired. I'm taking it easy. No, I'll still train a little bit.
I think he's referring to the Little and Large show that you wanted to...
Anytime. Listen, we'll get it on. Right, summertime, I reckon that'll be good.
Let's see if you
when
can
I do a rebuild.
Yeah, let's see if you can pull that conversation back.
Yes,
from where
I can. So, where we were was actually... The conversation evolved round, and we need to go back because I was saying about the cardio with Chris.
Oh, yeah.
So, you said then you don't actually go straight... Now
we used to. I mean, the first couple of preps, he'd put cardio in from the offset, which I always thought was a good idea because while you're somewhat softer, you've got more calories. Why not do the cardio? I didn't really like the thought of, you should let your diet do the work first, but I think Dorian did the same. I think he went into...
I did cardio straight from the off.
And I liked it because you think you're doing something. Plus, you're more lively 15 weeks out. Then you are 5 weeks out. Why leave all the cardio?
And I was eating, but it allowed me to eat more.
And you could eat more. Yeah. Right now, my situation is we're trying to leave cardio, but still, I did an hour the other day. So on a rest day, we might throw it in, and it's easy cardio. It's
was you doing cardio in the off season though?
No, because I just lose weight. But I walk my dog every day, so I guess that's more than what most people would do.
That's cardio though, isn't it?
He's getting older, so it's slow, but it's a good half an hour, sometimes up to 45 minutes. Every day though, it's consistent.
You're still moving.
And I'm quite active as a person. Like, I'm not like some pros that might be able to sit at home on the laptop. I have to actually go out and work, and so I'm actually on my feet a lot. So I don't sit down till night time, and I'm sat for an hour or two, and then I go to bed.
Yeah.
So my lifestyle doesn't have the need for off-season cardio.
Right. Okay.
If I needed to, I would. I'm not. So what's happening then with this prep? When will the cardio come in? We've actually done a couple of cardio sessions on a rest day.
Right.
But
so that's 3 times a week.
Yeah, 3 days a week, and On training days, it's kept out for now. But my rest days are quite low in calories as well as the cardio, so that's kind of a good fat burning day for me.
Right.
I always wake up lighter,
Yeah.
And with training days, we want to keep me fuller. Even though it's not a lot of carbs, he wants to keep my activity a bit lower just so I can put 100% in the gym, because I know I need to be a little bit bigger. My New York look I know would win in Cali, but I want to really have that kind of shock factor as well. I want people the judges to look and think, wow, he's improved again.
Yeah.
So I want everything to be in the gym. I want everything to be right. So until we really need to, he'll put cardio in on training days. But also my knee, I want my leg days to be as good as possible as well.
Yeah,
so if we can really put my knee through less work when it doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And plus Chris knows I can take torture. So if I had to do less cardio but eat less, he knows I'll do it. Because one, I've got the body type and the muscle density that doesn't just fade. Like I don't fade very easily.
You can't build quality muscle and lose it.
Exactly. I don't fade. I stay relatively full even if I've had 50 carbs a day for 3, 4, or 5 days. I can still look round. To me, I'm flat. And to Chris, I'm flat.
Yeah.
But to someone who doesn't know my physique might look and think, you look full, you look round.
I'd be like that. You'd be that gone though.
I feel like crap.
Yeah.
But Chris knows I can take it. So he knows he can push my food low when we need to, if we need to. And I won't stray. Like, I just don't do that. I just turn into a zombie and...
You just got to become robotic, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first prep. I think I was sat with Leanne, my girlfriend, and we were watching TV, but I was just staring at the piece of wall above it. And I think she was worrying at that time because she didn't quite know yet.
Yeah.
So she thought it was something to do with her. She's like, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah." I was just I was somewhere else. My head was somewhere else because you've got no energy.
Concentration level is gone. Focus.
I couldn't watch TV. You can't do anything.
You can watch it, and then he's trying to watch a film, and it just doesn't. You just can't do it.
Yeah, that's when you know you're doing it right.
Wendy McCready said the same. I think it's a commentary of those who really push themselves to the limit.
Yeah, and
concentration span, and
it's every prep.
What about your sleep?
I've always been a really good sleeper.
Johnny Sod.
I've always been a good sleeper, but instead of say 9 hours, I'd probably go down to 5 hours towards the end of prep.
Wow, what I'd give to have 5 hours sleep solid now. I'm just terrible.
Well, it's been getting less and less every year.
Yeah.
But I don't really hammer. I don't do fat burners much.
Yeah.
Apart from Clen, which doesn't keep me awake.
Right. Okay.
And I try and keep it to just coffee pre-workout.
Yeah.
So I've not got a load of stimulants that most bodybuilders might rely on the last few weeks. So I'm still quite relaxed. Do
you start the cleanse from the off?
No, we put it in maybe inside 10 weeks.
Right. And how would that work? Would it be every day, 2 days on, 1 day off?
No, it's usually every day.
Yeah, okay.
But it starts low.
Yeah.
Then it'll climb a little bit. Then when we want to climb to a level where it might feel uncomfortable, we'll do 1 high day.
Yeah.
And then 1 a lower dose day. And then we'll stagger it like that.
Right.
But it never goes very high.
What level would it go up to?
60.
That's not bad.
No. I just don't like the feeling either. Yeah, I hate it. Once we pushed to 60 to 80 one day, 20 one day. Yeah. And 80 was just, unless you split the dose, I think. But other than that, no fat burners.
Yeah.
So
I eliminated. I used to use it, but towards the end, I used to eliminate it, and I felt
really
better for
it. Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't feel as jittery in that. You know what I mean? It's certain things that you go, no. Wasn't really a massive love of myself with the fat burners. No. Do you use any T3 or anything like that?
T3 comes in later again. Yeah. And that's still the same, very low, and then he'll stagger it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go over 25. So a half to 25.
Yeah, I used to use it on about 25 micrograms.
Yeah. I think once we went to 37, but that was only for a couple of weeks, and then came back down.
I've had guys who used to come and see me, and they were taking 200, 300. Honest to God, believe me. I was like, oh, you've got to be joking.
It pushes your body the other direction. Your body can't deal with that much.
But plus, you're not got concerned about losing your thyroid.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. I mean, one prep, Chicago, my pro debut, which was probably one of my best conditions to date, we didn't use any at all.
Exactly. And you know what I mean?
It can be done. It's just that little aid.
It's just exactly.
Yeah.
just that little clip, isn't it? Just that,
Yeah.
But that's providing but look at your diet's on point.
Yeah, everything else has to be there. 100%.
Yeah,
you can't rely on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where most people would.
So what about your supplements? I'll use the term supplements, and
that'll usually take the same route.
Yeah.
So it'll start off. The lowest point would be 15 weeks out.
Yeah.
Or 16 weeks out, whenever we start prep. Okay, if we start from off season is usually a moderate, like low to moderate. It's more the highest point where my supplements are the whole year would be at 4 weeks out.
Right.
That I don't do high in the off season at all. It's probably what I start with in prep.
Right.
So it's probably a very cruise dose.
What
of the off season?
Do you mind what the amount would be? Would it be
as a whole
as
over
a
the
whole,
week?
Yeah.
Off season, collectively probably between 500 to 1,000.
Yeah.
But 1,000 would be rare. It would be if I was stuck and I couldn't, and then we would add a little bit in.
Yeah.
But it'd usually start around 400 to 500, and it would only go up if I need it to.
And
So
that's
if I'm growing,
See, people.
If I'm growing, that doesn't budge. I mean, for New York prep, that off season I got to my heaviest, and it didn't go over 600. The whole 12 weeks, I was stuck on 600 for 12 weeks because we didn't need to go up.
Again, I mean, so when you relate that,
People won't believe that, but
I was going to say, come on, seriously, how many people will believe?
No
I was
one.
on I keep saying this, I was on 650 when I was for my last show.
Yeah.
And I came in weighing, I was starting my contest diet at 203 and walked on stage at 202.
Yeah.
And I grew into it, you know what I mean? Because I had plenty of time off. I had a lot of break, a big break. Let me body relax. I wasn't concerned, you know what I mean? Is that important for you as well?
100%. I mean,
you don't cruise and...
off season, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the off season I do cruise.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
As in, no, sorry, I have a clear out.
No, that's what I mean.
No,
so you're not saying, so you're not using a small amount when you're
No.
off.
No, if I'm detoxing, it's detox.
Yeah.
It's like the only time I didn't was after New York, where I tried to make the most of that kind of rebound.
Yeah.
But then after a 12-week rebound, I dropped it all.
Right.
But I'm finding as I get bigger, the kind of detox period has to get a little bit shorter for me. But when we go back,
how long would that clear out be, so to speak?
Used to be at least 8 to 12 weeks. But that was a few years ago. So in recent years, it's probably gone down to 6.
Yeah.
But when it starts up again, it's very low. It's not like blasting straight from the get-go to 2 grams or a gram or whatever. It's start low, and as we need to, we'll taper up, which is the same idea throughout prep as well.
So what you've touched on the reaction of people though when you
they don't believe, they don't like when I say like
I used to get the same.
Yeah, it's because they haven't seen the 15 years that's led me to this point. So that you can't describe it to them because they don't want to. People don't want to know that it's taken 50,000 meals from when I was 13 and 10,000 training sessions of doing the same thing over and over again and 8 hours sleep every night. You put all that in front of someone and say, you need to do this to add 20 pounds of quality weight in the next 6 years. Yeah. They'll be like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You can do that in 6 months.
But it's not quality.
No, it's not. But they see the numbers.
And it's like, but that's not quality.
Yeah.
It's like, I used to say to people, they get the question and they'd say to us, what do you think, man? I go, why not ask me how we're training and eat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'd be like, well, and I'd throw back the question, say, well, how are you eating? What do you mean? Well, tell me your numbers. How much protein, carbs and fats are you on? And how are you training? And they'd be like, and they're way off base. Yet they're looking for that to make up what they're not doing.
Yeah. No, you're right. And this is what I'm trying to get across on the Train by JP website, which is subscription. Yeah. People can ask me anything they want on my blog.
Yeah.
And I'll answer everything honestly. But some people have given me feedback is it's refreshing to see someone talk so much about food and training, which is what Jordan does as well.
Yeah.
Everyone on that site, we're all trying to get the point that food and training is the key. It's the secret. Dorian said once, food is the most anabolic drug you can take.
Well, It's the most anabolic substance you've got as a bodybuilder. Because without it, you've got nothing.
It's what makes you.
You ain't going to recover. You ain't going to grow if you ain't got no food in.
You're right.
And what's the most common thing you always get told when it comes to eating? I get, it's hard work eating this amount of food.
Oh, I'm eating enough. Well, you're not, are you?
Well, all right. Then,
just because you feel comfortably full doesn't mean you've ate enough.
Yeah. If you work out, so how would you say, numbers would you say, if someone says, how much protein and carbs?
If in an off-season scenario, if I'm trying to grow.
I'm a newbie, come on. What do we do, Sass? How much do we need to eat?
Obviously proteins depending on your body weight. Let's say you want to take a 200-pound bodybuilder who, I would say 1.5.
Yep.
So 300 grams of protein. I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body weight in carbs.
Yep.
It obviously depends on your tolerance and how fat you get easily and that kind of thing. So let's say 500 to 600 carbs. And this is from clean food.
Yeah.
Fats, maybe about half of your body weight, 100.
Yeah.
It might not sound a lot in numbers, but when you put that in 6 healthy meals from rice, potato, chicken, steak, it's a lot of food, especially for someone who's not really be training for too long, but that's what they need to eat to grow. Yeah. And you give him them for a day, and he'll be full. He won't want. You do that every day for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year.
Oh, no.
It doesn't stop though.
No,
that's what people do. You can't. Bodybuilding doesn't stop.
20 years I were in it. And
it doesn't
understand, doesn't it? How many years now have you been competing?
Competing only 5 years.
But you was actually building
I was training.
Up.
Oh yeah.
How long before? I mean, would you say you was a bodybuilder as opposed to you was a bodybuilder still, but not competing at the time?
I would say when it got into a really serious bodybuilding routine when I was about halfway through uni, so about 19. I'd say it got.
And how old was you when? So you was
27.
How many people will put in 6-7 years before they even hit stage?
Yeah.
I think that's what misses a lot of time. A lot of people are too keen to get on stage without building that foundation.
I get clients now that say, I want to put as much size on as I can and compete in October. Well, we're nearly in March.
Yep.
You want to be prepping about July.
Yep.
So you've got, say, 3 months off season. What are you thinking that you're going to put on in 3 months? But people don't see it that way.
They don't get it, do they?
I've got 3 months to grow, but and it's not their fault. It's just what's the information that's been given now. Everything's instant.
Yeah, and it's like you say, people are falling into this trap of this instant gratification, or this instant overnight.
Yeah.
You know, where
access to everything.
It should happen. Why? Yeah. And it's like it doesn't work like that.
I think that's what's hurting, and as well as helping the sport on the other side. You know. Being able to reach out to people, but it's also hurting a lot of people because people believe what they see. It's
frustrating, isn't it, when you look at, I've had many a conversation like you now. I mean, because you've got your own online
coaching now.
Coaching. How's that going, by the way?
It's going really good. I started up in December, towards the end of December to start in January, so it's quite fresh.
And what do your services offer? What do you offer?
I offer basically what Chris has done with me. I've kind of learned off that.
Yep.
And I offer 24-hour access. So if you email me, I'll email you within a few hours, same day.
Yeah.
And I don't have set check-ins. Like, say, if you sign up with me Sunday, I give you plan Monday. Okay, check in with me next Monday and every Monday. Mine is, okay, I want to see what your body weight is in 3 days, or I want to know this in 2 days. Or,
you basically...
I'm constantly with them.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best way. If you're someone serious about their physique, your body can change a little bit in the few days, especially when you're in prep. I don't want to wait a week.
Yeah,
I didn't like it when I was checking in weekly for my first prep. I got to Wednesday and like something didn't feel right, so I needed a switch then, so that could take away from being 100% on stage. So I offer that any goal, whether it's losing body fat or getting healthy, putting muscle on, all the way up to prep, serious bodybuilders. And I've got a few serious bodybuilders, one in Switzerland, America. So it's going really good. I actually enjoy it. At first, I only wanted 10 clients because it was initially to help me finance my journey.
Of course it is,
so I can, again, rely on myself. But I got to 10 quite quick. and I've gone over 10. I think I'm on 14 or 15, and I actually really enjoy it. It's nice. It's a good, and I've got someone who doesn't even want to be a bodybuilder. He just wants to lose body fat and look good.
And so what is that? Is that a set plan? Is that over a 12-week or is it?
It's a monthly roll on.
Okay.
I don't like set time.
No.
Unless someone's competing, then
month by month.
To do this, But if it's someone who just wants to start growing, then we can keep going until he's happy, or he can get lean until he's happy. Then if he wants to change his plan, we can do.
Yeah.
Or if he wants me to direct where he's going to go, then I can.
Yeah.
It's very much individual based. Anything goes, really.
So what's the website?
Well, it's an email. It's Sasan Heirati, and we'll put it up later. Sasan Heirati at outlook.com.
Right.
So just if anyone is interested on the details, just shoot me an email. I'll email back within the same day, within a few hours. And it's just quite cool. Like, I want to be able to teach or pass on what I've seen.
Pass on the knowledge.
And I never people have been telling me for a few years, why don't you just do diets and coaching? And it wasn't always, I wanted to always focus on myself.
Yeah.
But I've got to a point where, like 3 years ago, I would have been like, I just want to be bodybuilding 24/7. Yeah. I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. But Chris taught me along the way that you don't need to just, not everyone's Dorian.
Yeah.
Like Dorian was so switched on 100% of the time that his sacrifice led him to a Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
But I've realized that to make this work for me at this moment in time, I need certain outlets and incomes from different areas.
I suppose in a way it's like, you can be so focused, but as long as you're training right and eating right,
that's it.
Chris then you fill in the gaps.
Chris said that. He said sometimes, because I remember when I was a PT in a gym, got to a point where I just didn't want to train. I got to my training session and I was like,
burns you out.
Yeah, but when I was like at the shop that I helped run, the Get Burger place, and doing stuff, this, that, and the other, when I got to the gym, I was like, yes, this is the gym.
Your outlet.
This is where, So it's good for me to stay busy. Like some days where I don't have much to do, I'm like, I'm going a little bit crazy here. So I can't do it like a bodybuilding camp, like some guys do in Q8. I can't just...
Where it's just eat, sleep, and and it's talk about bodybuilding content.
I think that'll take away from my work ethic.
Yeah,
I like a challenge of having 3 different jobs and
doing something different.
Yeah, obviously when I can take time away from the shop and the other things that I do, then I'll put more time into my online work and getting a brand set up. So I'm always going to be working.
Yeah.
But that's just the way I function. I've realized that I can do other things. I can enjoy life. Yeah. One of the questions I get on the blog, I talk about switching off when it's off season. But what people don't understand is, how do you switch off? Or do you stop training? Do you stop eating? Like, no, it doesn't. The training doesn't stop. The eating doesn't stop. But you can switch off mentally, because otherwise, if you don't, you're just going to... Sean Roden said something to me when I just turned pro. I met him. And he said, so now that you're pro, I've got 2 pieces of advice for you. And he said, 1, have a thick skin. And 2, know when to take your foot off the pedal and switch off.
Yeah.
He goes, when you put it all into a prep on the pro level, at the Olympia level, you need to be able to leave that show and be able to switch off if you can. He goes, otherwise you're just going to... Imagine having a Lamborghini and putting it in 7th gear and putting your foot down every single morning and night. It's going to burn out.
Yeah. It is.
And it's the same thing. And I didn't understand it quite as good back then. But the more I'm competing, the more you get criticized. You need to know how to kind of switch off from things. So the training is always going to be there. I love training. You do. Even if I don't compete, that's my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Guy Sistino said something that always hits home with me. Like, he said, I'm a bodybuilder because I love to train. I don't train to be a bodybuilder. That's me. That's like 100% me. My gym time is...
Milos said that to me.
Yeah.
When we were on stage, and then after the show, and he said, we always remember, obviously you're there to, the judges, but ultimately always remember why you started.
Yeah.
And you started because you loved the training, and you was trying to attain a look for you anyway. Yeah. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, you're right. And this might sound, I don't mean this to sound bad, but I most often don't care what the judge has to feed back to me.
You know what you want.
I know what I want, and I have the people in my life that I will go to and say, what do you think is missing from this look?
If you've got but basically it's like when I used to go up like I used to work obviously for CMP, and I was with Kerry, and Kerry, worked alongside Kerry for God knows how many. So I knew that as long as Kerry was happy, I knew I was on the right lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew what I wanted from me anyway.
Yeah.
So I knew I learned from the early years as to what condition was.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew, but then it's good to get that when you know someone. Hold on, if they say you're right, you're right. If you're not, I've got to do something here.
And it's got to be a limited amount of people because
not
everyone's going to think the same.
No.
Yeah. So
guys, we're just coming up to 2 hours.
Oh wow!
Believe it or not. No, it's gone quickly. Sas, got a question for you.
Go.
Where do you see bodybuilding in 10 years' time?
To be honest, I see it more or less in the same light. I know people say it's fading or quality is dropping a bit, but I think everything kind of cycles. With bodybuilding, it's such a cult sport. It's always going to have its kind of hardcore to the roots kind of following. I think that's going to keep it bodybuilding. Like all these other categories are fine, but a lot of them are kind of, they're not hardcore.
Do you think that's is a point? Do you think that all these classes, and think we all get carried away thinking, it's going to die. Do you think that these classes are allowing other people to compete where they would never have been a bodybuilder anyway?
Yeah, definitely. It's allowing people to be on stage and make use of their genetics. But come on, people go to the Olympia to see the freaks.
Yeah.
It's a freak show, almost. It's a beautiful, freaky painting.
Yeah. But do you think they've got to still reward that? I hate the word saying classic physique, but a massive class.
Yeah,
no,
always. I'm not saying freak show is in.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. The
out of proportion.
Guy.
No. I think
the big man.
Yeah, and like people say, Dorian was the mass monster, but
he
almost over dieted to get in shape.
He always did. He said
he did.
His goal was to get in shape.
Yeah, people think he was big because he built the muscle.
And some.
So he lost it. He lost the body fat, and he made sure everything was gone so that he could portray this balanced proportion, but huge physique. That's bodybuilding.
It annoys me when people say Dorian wasn't symmetrical and balanced. Mm-hmm. I thought he was.
He was in his poses.
Well, he wouldn't have been 6 times Mr. Olympia.
When you look at the mandatories and the 7 mandatory poses, that's where it counts.
Yeah.
Not when you're walking in and off stage, not when you're bending down to take your shoes off.
Yep.
It's them 7 poses that a bodybuilding show is judged on.
Yep.
When he was in that pose, he had the least amount of flaws.
For me, yeah. And I would say that of all the Mr. Olympians, because if you look at the size of his calves, they were in relation to the size of his biceps. Yeah. Okay, he had a torn bicep, granted.
Yeah, well before he started tearing things. Yeah. But
even then, okay, you does you say out of all the poses, I might have lost 1 or 2, but there are 7 poses. The others, yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, but you look at the balance. Okay, he didn't have the tiniest waist, but the man was how wide? How big was his chest? It was like
that's how I look at it.
Yeah,
I look at myself in the poses.
Yeah,
and I think, well, I'm more balanced than this guy and this guy, so I'm going to win the show.
So let's go back, because I was really disappointed when I saw the result of the New York show, and then you came second. Not long after that, I can't remember. What was the second?
It was a Cali Pro the week after New York.
And I remember seeing the pictures, saw clips of the video, and then I saw you was interviewed by Dave Palumbo, and Dave summed up exactly how I saw it, and I think a lot of people... you came 6th in that show. I don't get it. I actually had you winning. Yeah. And it was Sergio, wasn't it?
Sergio Oliver Jr., yeah. He won the show. You want my thoughts or
definitely.
How I felt?
Yeah, please.
Well, at the time when I didn't get called backstage to go up for the top 5, I wasn't shocked because when they called the first call out, I was included.
Yeah.
So there were 6 guys on stage.
Right.
Me, Akeem, Juan, Justin, Sergio, and John De La Rosa. 6 of us. We did 2 shots.
Right.
And Sergio got taken away. He was next to me. He got taken away, put to the other side, and then I got taken off. Which confused me a bit, but I thought, okay, maybe they're going to put me back in. But they didn't put me back in. So I went back to the hotel thinking, well, I'm not top 5. So I wasn't shocked, and it wasn't quite the time for me to let it sink in and review it all. So I was kind of just going with the day. And I spoke to Chris. Chris was like, just go out to the night show and just give it your best. Show people what you got, which is what I did. And I got 6th. And still I couldn't make up my own mind, because I always kept getting emails and messages, people saying what you just said. Oh, you should have been here, you should have won it, or you should have got 2nd or 3rd.
I personally had you winning it.
But I didn't want to take that in case they were just trying to make me feel better.
No. Well, I've told you, Anna, before, when you hadn't won, I'd tell you straight.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
So I wanted to make my own mind up. And I went back to the hotel with Leanne, and I started seeing pictures. And I thought, okay, I've seen a few pictures and I do look good, but maybe they're just pictures. But then the more pictures I saw, the couple of videos I saw, I thought, hang on a minute, when you take the shots, side by side, where am I lacking? Where am I not in the top 3?
What did Leanne say? I know she's your other half.
Yeah,
and she's in your corner, but what was her view?
I think Leanne is sometimes careful because she doesn't want to make me feel worse, because sometimes when people say, oh, you should have won, it can make you feel worse.
Yeah, I know you get it.
It can make you be like, well, what's the point in this then? So she was kind of picking her words, but she was comforting as well as saying, you looked huge. She was telling me how I looked on stage, which is what I saw in the videos. And when I spoke to Chris and Jose the next morning at the hotel, it just confirmed that, I was in the mix. And then for Dave to say, if you came 2nd, no one would have batted an eye, even if you won.
Yeah.
For guys like that who don't have to be biased, don't need to be biased, and you and just everyone, the more I went away from the show, I was thinking, I had that. And I still, to this day, get messages from people that were in the crowd. Can't wait to see this year. You should have won New York.
Well, that's a good
people
what
who
a
don't
great
know
impression
me,
to leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because we briefly touched up on that, you told me that Sergio, in all fairness to him, he made a comment about you.
He did, yeah. He did it in about 3 interviews.
Right, okay.
He said that the only guy he was worried about was me.
Yep.
The only guy he approached backstage was me. He came up to me, which was cool of him. He shook my hand. He said, I've been a fan for a while, and it's really cool to meet you. Both being with Chris Aceto, he wanted to introduce himself, and I thought that was really cool of him. Yeah. And no one even looked at Sergio really backstage either, so I thought it was, okay, maybe it's between me and him. Yeah. Especially when I saw some of the condition of the other guys, and Chris and Dave were saying in the lead up that this is, the condition guy's going to win. I thought, okay, I'm going to nail condition, obviously. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to have a shot. So it kind of threw me a bit, especially when I came 2nd the next week and Akeem Williams got 5th, where he beat me in New York the week before. But then I started to realize, okay, different judges are going to want to see different things. When we were leading into Cali, people were telling me judges at Cali want condition, and they did, because me and Gerard were the most conditioned in the show. But shouldn't that be? I mean, there's a standard criteria. For crying out loud. I agree. It shouldn't be varying from that. Well, come on, you've got a mandate to follow. Yeah, I don't know. It's, I'm not a judge, but I think Cali, I don't mind. I know I could have won that show, and I know I can beat Gerald, because I know I'm more complete. Yeah. But I know I was very flat that day. What caused that? I think the travel, because obviously I'd travelled a week before New York to Boston. Yeah. And then I was in Boston, and then I travelled from Boston to New York to compete, which was some 4 hours driving there and back. Wow. And then I travelled from Boston to LA, which was another 9 hours, and we were 3 hours delayed on the plane. It was all wearing me down, and I'm not someone who's done back-to-back shows yet. Yeah. So it was quite a big thing for me to handle. How far apart were they? They were only a week. But because of the 11 hours on the, and when we got to LA, our hotel, I didn't have a fridge, and I really didn't have anything to make food with. So I had to resort to going to the supermarket and hoping they had a rotisserie chicken ready. And if they didn't, I'd have to go and buy the packet chicken. Oh, that'd be... So I was living on packet chicken, bread, and rice cakes. So it wasn't always ideal, but I made it work. Right. I still came in quite good. Wow. But I think because I was so dry for New York, and I tried to maintain that, and I did drink up between New York and Cali, but I was so dry that I kept getting drier and drier. And when I was really weird, that, but eating bread and chicken... Oh, no, chicken? I stayed dry. I was eating cookies to try and really bring me back a bit. Because you was Yeah.
Do you
I
think
wouldn't do it
because your
otherwise.
metabolism was so fast
it was
as
so
well?
fast, and I was so conditioned. There was not an ounce of body fat. So if you let your body go, it'll just keep going and going and going. And I remember being backstage when the tan people were going to oil us up.
Yeah.
And I said, I need quite a bit extra oil because I feel quite dry.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's okay. We'll come backstage and check. And they come backstage before I went on. They're like, have you not been oiled yet? I was like, yeah, I got oiled, but it's dry. I'm sucking it in. My skin was literally absorbing the oil.
Wow.
And it's still, like they put 6 coats of oil on and it still absorbed it. So by the time I was on stage next to guys like Jared, who was polished, shiny, everything was perfect like I was at New York, I was fading because my skin was just taking everything in.
Yeah. And
I wasn't as full. So when we were in the quarter turns, I didn't have as much stage presence because I was lacking like 4 pounds of fullness.
Yeah.
So it was all against me. So I know that when I came second, I knew why. So it wasn't like, oh no, I was 100%. Why did I? So that I can accept.
So what did you learn from it all?
When I saw Sergio and Gerard walk out on stage to do their routines, and when they were in the posing, sometimes when I glanced, they had a different kind of confidence in their eyes compared to the rest of us. They were moving around and posing like they owned the stage. And they were like in the music when they were doing their routine. They were kind of they were like, everything was confidence. Everything just looked like they'd won. That was something that I was lacking. So that was something I came away with thinking, okay, next year I'm gonna win a show. And I've said that to myself every single day. So there's no way that I'm gonna have an ounce of, I'm not gonna be shaky. I'm not gonna be like, this is a big lineup for me. I'm not, there's gonna be none of that this year.
Yeah.
I need to show my physique in my routine more because I don't hold poses as long enough as I should. I will hit a pose, then I'll move straight to the next one. Even though I pose quite slow, I'm a slow poser. I like the classic posing, but when I hit some of my best shot, I need to milk it. These guys, Gerard and Sergio, were milking over and over their best shots. Yeah, and I can look good in every shot, so I need to milk every shot. So that's one thing I took away. Good. Another was to try not to do 2 shows in a run. So I'm going to do
big ask, innit?
Yeah, for me, for now, I need to make a dent every show. So I'm going to do Cali and then come back and then maybe do Chicago, which is 3 or 4 weeks later. So I have some.
But if you go out and win Cali, would you do Chicago?
No, because then it's
because your job done, innit?
Yeah. My goal is Olympia, a win and an Olympia. So if I wanted the checks really badly, then I'd probably do another show. But I want to look good at the Olympia as well. So you've got a set plan, and you've got to stick to that. Yeah, 100%.
Rather than take away from that.
Yeah, I need. I've always been someone who picks his shows.
Well, I personally, I've said it. You should have won. Many of us there. There's no doubt in my mind you will get a win. You will get to the Olympia. It's got to happen for you, Sass.
It does.
I just love. You look at that picture. I mean, come on. You got to be one of the most densely built and polished bodybuilders on the planet.
Thank you.
You are one of the top Ifbb pros. I genuinely mean that. I've always been a big fan of your physique, your shape, everything, and you're a class act
and a thoroughly nice guy to be.
He is. Everyone says that you're a quiet man, but you're not really that quiet, are you?
I can ramble a bit,
and I can't say that.
I just need to do more of these.
But the thing is that people are getting an insight as to who you are, and it's been a pleasure.
No, thank
sat
you.
Across the table from
I'm super grateful for you having me on, giving me this opportunity over 2 hours. So it's a lot for people to learn about me, which is what I want to do this year. Yeah. I want people to see me more, the person, not just the physique.
Yeah, definitely.
We want to see how those shows go. We'll get you back on.
Oh yeah,
definitely,
I'll be back 100%.
Because I think all of us, every one of the British bodybuilding scene, fitness fans, if they ain't behind you, they're not true fans.
Thank you.
Well, this is what it's about, mate.
Yeah.
I'm really rooting for you because I say your physique is definitely for me one of the best, and it will be one of the standout polished physiques at the Olympia. You will get there.
I will, 100%.
You will. I know you will.
Thank you.
What we do need to do though is you've got to pick a blue or a black pen.
I'll go with black.
You're going with black?
Yeah.
And we need your signature on the table.
You can move that microphone out of your way, mate, and find a nice empty space on that table for me.
Okay.
Sign the table, sir.
I think we might need to switch this table around eventually, John. It's just going to be one-sided, isn't it?
I know it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Train hard, train smart. Have fun.
We've had a few lefties on here, haven't we?
Yeah, I never know. Is that what you say?
It's funny. I write with my left, but I do everything else with my right. So, but then I can't write with my
Ambidextrous,
right.
we call that, don't we?
But I can't write with my right.
You can't write. No.
So I can't really say ambidextrous either.
Wow.
I'm just an odd one.
Well, Sass, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you. Pleasure's been mine.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And John, next couple of weeks we've got, is it Anth Bales coming in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Anth Bales.
Yeah,
yes.
he's coming in on the next podcast.
Another brutal beast.
Yeah, in 2 weeks' time. So make sure you tune in for that, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very
See
much.
you again soon.
As I said, the Olympia does await you.
Yeah.
Good luck for this year, mate.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.